What?
I meant to put on. It doesn't matter.
What?
I meant to put on record local streams, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, I meant to put on pants.
No, that doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
There are none, but
There are no pants.
Yeah, there are no pants.
It's
The
like,
pants are a lie.
yeah, it's like I was going to say in the Matrix.
It's the Leisure Suit Larry version of Portal.
It's like the spoon.
What have you been up to, Idge?
You sound a little poppy, and I don't mean the
Okay.
new metal female musical artist. I don't
know. Let's see if I can fix that. I don't know if I can.
I don't know.
It doesn't look like I'm getting any noise on this side.
I don't know. It could be just me. When someone else shows up, we can get a second opinion.
Yeah, what I can do, or if there is someone, it looks like there might. Well, there was someone there. What I can do is pull up the audio externally. Fun debugging with fun.
I just assume, based on how you're looking at stuff all the time at various levels and angles, that you have like a monitor set up like in Dark Knight Rises, where it's just a wall of stuff.
It's very similar.
I figured.
Let's see.
How many screens do you have going
right now?
Yeah. Well, or could you have going like that are already set up if you wanted to fire them up?
Just 5.
Oh, is that all?
That is all.
Is the reason that one is up so high is because you ran out of room on the desk for the 5th one?
It's actually a television that's mounted up there.
Oh, okay.
And I can pull up the stream. If I can find it. What the hell? I was going to pull up the stream to see what the audio is like on the stream. But you know what I could also do? I could also do that on my fucking phone. I mean, I could sit here and try and figure all that out, or I could just go on my phone and go to YouTube there.
It's very true.
That is an option. Let's see. It's on the channel that nobody has subscribed to. Okay. Oh, Rox is here. Good. Rox can entertain you. Well, I do tech things.
Hi, Rox.
Hello.
How are you?
No, well, I guess we can just ask. Now we can just ask Rox. How do I sound?
You sound good. You sound good.
Not poppy. Not like a sort of Taylor Swifty.
Not like Pop. You told me never to call you Poppy. Come on.
Not in public.
Okay.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It could be my cursed connection. If that's the only problem that I have going on, then I'm fine with it.
You sound okay. It's the normal, right?
I mean, I don't know.
For us,
he said I sounded poppy. Now let me ask you this: do you hear this? Rob apparently does.
No, there's a popping in it. Yeah.
The
It was popping?
Yeah, there's a popping in my playback on that.
Maybe it's the playback.
Now I gotta find the stupid thing. All right, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna mute myself.
All right.
Okay. Can you hear us? Hello.
Have you got those fancy in-ear headphones too?
I do.
Oh.
I do. Mine are Shure 4. Which ones are these? The 480. The 535s. I've had these for years. I love them.
Fancy.
Very fancy. Yeah.
I just got the big ass cans. Well, I've seen bigger.
Yeah. It's low profile, so it's when I do
True.
mediation and stuff, it doesn't have that hello, you're calling. I have a couple of coworkers. They have a really great mic, and yet it's like caller, hello, how are you today? They sound great, but it's just like, you know,
To answer Joey's question, the pop
You're
up on the
on.
screen. I'm pretty sure we did talk about it at some point, but that was like, when was that? That was like last year, wasn't it?
that was some time ago. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So I don't
It
know.
wasn't last week, that's for sure.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
That's true.
what's
So it-
what's going
Okay,
on?
I concur with you. I am Poppy.
okay.
Poppy. Don't call me Poppy. Poppy.
So Rob,
Yes.
Rob,
How-
you have tell us. Tell
yeah,
us
how is
all about
the new
your
show? You have,
Oh.
like 5 shows now.
3.
Oh, okay, 3. I was rounding up.
Okay, you say so.
I saw Joe Galbadon, Joe's name pop up. What is that? He's just. How many episodes did you release last year?
I'm behind,
Gidge?
Joseph.
This
There
is
were-
like a.
there were-
You know what,
there were
Behind
more.
Joseph.
Joe? This is like a zine. Okay, this is the podcast zine. We get around to getting free help. That's John. And eventually things are produced. And yet, in the future, people will research Weekend Justice for all
Well,
nerd things.
I think the problem is that Netflix canceled the whole second half of our run.
Never should
But
have
we're
made the
going to
deal
be
with
picked
Netflix.
up by Hulu.
Okay.
Either that or Pluto TV. Take your
Pluto-
pick.
Well, you know, or I'm just surprised that, what was it? I posted the trailer for the Spiderwick Chronicles television show, which looks fun, and it looks like Christian Slater's going to have a really great time with it. But I'm like, it's on the Roku channel.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously someone watches the Roku channel because the Weird Al movie won awards,
It did.
That might be the only thing that saved it.
I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Yeah.
think, but bottom line, everything is owned by like 5 companies.
Yes.
So it really doesn't matter where a show pops up. I think it's a way of getting people to migrate to something and then spring them back. It's like, ha
Yeah.
ha. It's like what? The latest thing is Sherlock is now, all right, so they left Netflix and now you can watch it. Where is it, Rob? Is it on Hulu, I think?
I don't know.
But the BBC Sherlock?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's all you've got. They're not going to make any more, people.
Well, the only thing that I read at some point, which I actually like the idea of, is that there are stories of them much older in life. So you could, and there is a tradition in British television of just coming back whenever you feel like it. You know what? The zine television. That's what it is.
Television.
So you could have them pop up and do another series of Sherlock in 5 years, just
is
because
on-
everybody's schedule opens up.
It is on BritBox and Hulu.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
BritBox.
my radio shows are not
Ooh,
on
you get
BritBox or Hulu.
commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, Widge, the radio shows are fine.
Oh,
Well,
good.
two of them are. One is, we'll see. But
Okay.
yes.
So even radio shows are like zines.
Yes, I
That
had.
can
This
be.
is funny. This was actually the conversation I had with the guy who, in New York, I put the radio show on. He said, "Your show is like a zine. It doesn't look like it has a whole lot of sense, but when you fumble through all the pages together, it's actually really, really cool." And I said, "I think that's okay."
That's an awesome pull quote. You should totally put that on something.
Yeah.
Sounds a tad long though.
Well, that's okay. It'll just doesn't matter. No, I'm having fun. Can't
I could
complain.
edit it down. It'd be fine.
I have found time to do it, which is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
caffeine is your friend. I've learned not to. I have done 2 of 1 under the influence of alcohol, which made for compelling radio. But I didn't slur my speech, so that was great.
That's always good. That's always good.
Yeah, and it was just simply that I looked up and went, "Oh shit! It's the day before it was due." So I'm like, "I guess I better do it now." So yeah, it's coming along. I'm having fun. The one in Brooklyn is on like 4 different streaming platforms, so it's opened up a interesting range of new audiences for me. I've got my first ever listener in Tibet.
that's awesome.
Get out.
Is his name Dolly?
No, he wouldn't talk to me unless I was a small man.
Poppy.
No, it was cool. It's like he's in Tibet. I'm like, oh, okay. And then a guy from China sent me a bunch of 45s. He's like, take these. I can't play them in my country. Play them in the West.
That's awesome.
Is that?
Wow.
Wait a minute. Why can't he play them in his country?
Because I don't think you can really play anything in there that's not state approved.
Oh, I understand. So
And,
it was for the reason that I thought, but
And
the reason
not a
that I
lot of
hoped it
people. Not a
wasn't.
lot of people. I mean, you have to be in a certain mindset to like shoegaze music anyway. And it's just something that's kind of, and I think if you go to the West, hear a band you like, and sort of want to emulate them in your music back there, that's kind of frowned upon because it's influenced by the West. So, although there is tons of really fantastic, authentic Chinese music anyway, none of it I can think of right now. Like Don Ho, for example, terrific. No, just kidding.
Tiny bubble.
Well, I'm curious if the like.
Why the racism, Rob?
Why you gotta be real racist? So I'm curious because I know that they don't like films or television that have ghosts in it, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, what?
So Ghost Hunters is perfectly fine then.
There are
Since
no
I've never had
ghosts.
ghosts, an actual ghost.
No, I was just wondering if you had a song that was about ghosts,
No.
even
I don't think I do.
metaphorical.
I don't think I do. I'll have to look now.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. the
Yeah, there you go.
friendliest
Do a
ghost
cover
you
of Casper the Friendly Ghost.
know.
Well, Casper in China is a ghost who is loyal
A
to the
child. A
A child.
child.
state. A child, probably the third that didn't make it.
Oh God.
And he probably died in the famine and is still waiting for the Great Leap Forward. That's probably what Casper looks like in
Jesus.
China.
Wow, it got super weird and deep.
Well,
Try to give it light.
Joseph mentions a lot of stuff isn't state approved over there: television, movies, music,
yeah.
non-heterosexuality, most religions,
Yeah.
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 and Bob. Weirdly, Bob is also not state approved.
Bobo the clown is not allowed.
But yeah, I decided to just kind of just do whatever the hell I wanted with the free design one, and because I have my own email for that now, so that means the freaks can actually find me.
Like they couldn't before.
No, it was like
it's only sending you cans of beans with
emails and stuff. Yeah, so
No, the cans of beans mailed.
The kids have never heard of Fats Waller or Benny Goodman or and it's just
Oh my god, you need to play Marlena Dietrich from the 60s.
Funny you should say
From
that.
the 60s.
That's coming
Okay.
because that's on my list too.
I found that. I'm like, oh my god, this is gold.
I thought you meant the
Yeah.
Peter Murphy song for some reason.
Oh
No.
no, well played, John.
Where have all the flowers gone?
Yeah, no, there's that, and then there's a couple really fantastic. I ran out of time. Here's something you don't hear every day. I ran out of time last week, so I couldn't play that Maurice Chevalier record I wanted to play. Because Rock's the only people that care about Maurice Chevalier anymore are probably you and I.
Well,
man.
it's that Thank Heaven song is now kind of like.
Oh, the Thank Heaven for Little Girls. Yeah. Well, you know.
Some
You know,
things
there's
don't
a-
age well, is what we're
There's a
saying.
lot of songs from the 20s
Doesn't
and
age
30s.
well.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a song from the 30s like "My Baby Wants Some Cocaine." You can't really play that, you know. I mean, well, I mean, if you're metal, you probably could. Like,
I
if
mean,
you're
you
Motley
could.
Yeah.
Crue. Yeah. So.
Oh, Rob. Speaking of zines and punk scene and music, guess
Oh, did you get my?
what?
Did you get my
Guess-
zines?
No.
I sent you like a thing of zines a couple months ago. Did you ever get them?
Oh, I did get those. Yes.
Okay,
I did.
okay.
Thank you. So, my little friends group, nonprofit organization. I'm their
Which is
president.
different
I
than
don't know
My
why.
Little Pony. Okay.
I know.
I was
Yes.
thinking the same thing.
So we have a DCAS. So it's a zine comic book little convention in July,
Oh, really?
and they're bringing over Sean Carswell
And-
from Razor Cake.
Oh, nice.
So here's the thing: we were of all the groups, and all of my board members are older than myself.
And all
most of them.
And all the bars in all the cities in all the world.
And they asked us if we could spend money for a lit chat. So there are these recorded little zine podcast type things, and they're live. So we're sponsoring half of Sean Carswell to come to Jacksonville to talk about Razor Cake. And I'm like,
Which
okay.
half? Only the top or the bottom half?
Well, we're sponsoring
Or the left half?
like $750 for to bring them from LA to Jacksonville. But it was so funny because I had to we had actually, Rob, we used your zines as homework. So at one of the meetings, the librarian who wanted the program to go forward, and she's trying to explain. I said, hold on, because I was letting one of my board members look at a ton of them. I was like, here, everybody take one and read it. You take it home and we'll discuss the next time if we want to underwrite this program. So it's not every, the weird thing is they want to have the lit chat at our library, which is the oldest surviving library branch. And I'm like, well, we don't really have zines, but so I did point that out just so that, some of the older board folk would be like, not feel like they're put on the spot. And this one, Susan, she's like, I think it's a great idea. We should do this. I'm like, okay, Susan, yay. I said, well,
Susan's always up for a good time.
Susan's
Yeah,
up
Susan.
for it. And she goes, I think it's a great, she goes, I don't understand them, but I think we should do this. So I was like, okay.
That's great. That's the best. That's the best kind of person right there. I don't get it, but let's do it.
Yes. So I think they asked us for a donation of $1,400, but we're doing half of that. So yay for us. And zines will be coming to the Willow Branch Library. So
I'll send you some more.
Okay, yay. What do you have?
I have something called Used Records and Tapes #2
Wow.
that a listener sent me. Yeah, from
Ooh.
Passaic, New Jersey.
Passaic? Wow, I want that one.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about sending it to Tuffley because it's got the guy picks a year and then does reviews of albums. Yeah, I'll send it to you. That's fine.
Well, just
this
so you
review-
know,
This review of She's So Unusual in here, right?
Ooh, yeah.
And then there's like a review of
do they
Hall and Oates,
mention?
the only ever reviews of Hall and Oates' Big Bam Boom with somebody took the time to sketch Corey Hart. I mean, come on.
That's good. All right, Rob. Just so you
Although
know,
Corey
whatever
Hart kind of looks like he's a heroin addict here, right?
it does in a cartoon kind of way.
Or he looks like he's in a Monk painting.
It does.
It's like if Edward Monk had made Corey Hart.
I like that.
Yeah.
I need that. So, Rob, just so you know, whatever you send to me
Goes to the library.
goes to the library.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
And the Jacksonville Public Library has the largest zine,
I know.
largest circulated zine collection. I'm Rob. I know you know this, but
They're telling other people. No, this
Joe Galbadon may not know. Joe, come to
important.
Jacksonville.
Joe
And you
the
Joe
can take
knows.
out
is
some.
Joe the only person listening to this?
It doesn't matter. This
Okay.
show's for him.
Okay.
It's dedicated to Joe. Thank you. So
Good.
come down to Jacksonville. Get a
listeners
library card.
like Joe.
Since you're out of state, it'll cost you like $200, but you could take a zine out.
Yeah, I got my New York Public Library card the other day.
Oh, did you? Isn't it? It's magic.
Yeah,
I like mine.
so
I'll have to start having like somebody send mail from the courthouse. So when I have to re-up.
it was kind of zine like how I got it too.
Really?
Because
How'd you get it?
I
how'd you
found
do
one of my old phone bills from when I lived in New York in an album sleeve, and it had my address on it, my old address. So I whited out the 1993 and just sort of very
Oh,
carefully made it a 2023 and then Xeroxed it 3 times and took a picture of it and emailed them and said, "Can I get a library card with this?" And they said yes. And I said, "Great, I'm not in the New York area right now. Can I just send it?" So I just faxed it. And
yes, yes.
they mailed a
It's
card.
cool.
They mailed a card to a friend of mine, and he's going to mail it to me.
It's the coolest thing. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep. Because New York, so the New York, Joe knows this, right, Joe? So, get rid of your governor. Yeah, well, I can't really speak of that, Joe, because I now work for the judicial circuit of the great state of Florida.
But I can,
But
and he's
Jo-
an idiot. I have no such
you
limitation on what I
know,
can say about my
yeah.
state.
I'll just tell them I don't know that man, Poppy. I don't know him. So so New York State's really, or New York Public Library is really great. I think I've mentioned this, is like
Yeah.
they have it so that if you work there, but you live elsewhere, but you can prove that, they'll give you a library card. Let's see it, John. Let's see it, Rob. Let's see the library card.
No, it's getting mailed to me. I don't have it yet. I only did this week. I mean, yeah.
Did you get to pick a design?
I basically told my friend Mara, just pick the design and get the damn thing as quick as you can before they can get you out of there.
Figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because my friend Mara is the most modest and unassuming person in the world. They'll never question her.
All she has to do is wear that Little Red Riding Hood Captain America outfit with the little basket. Yes.
You know the other cool thing I got, Rox,
What?
on today's edition
What the hell is that you're describing? Oh, sorry, Rob.
of what in a box?
No, I was trying to figure out what Rox was describing.
Yeah, I was trying to. I kind of stopped too.
A Little Red Riding Hood with
Oh
Captain
yeah,
America?
no. So his friend Mara, she comes up with these mashup outfits
Oh, okay.
at Dragon Con.
Oh,
So she
okay.
dressed
Makes
up.
sense. All
She
right.
dressed up as Captain America, as Little Red Riding Hood, I believe.
As you do.
As you do.
Yeah.
I know there's a photo.
Baron
somewhere.
Zevon, the
Yeah, I was
big
gonna
red wolf.
say, what a red skull you have.
like
So-
she had a little shield and a little basket, and it's great.
Hey, Rox.
Yes. What? Japanese notebook.
Yeah,
Oh.
They sent me a pen
Nice.
kit.
Oh,
They sent me a
I've got
pen
the
kit.
Travelers
So
one.
I'm now a pen snob because I got like 2 ink pens with ink, and then a bunch of these little notebooks, and a Pizzicato 5 sticker. I'm like, I got to do more radio shows because people are like sending me like
Oh
really
my
fucking cool
gosh.
shit.
Oh my God. So ask for the Traveler notebooks.
Oh yeah,
When-
I totally
When
should.
you're on
Yeah.
and Kawiko,
Yeah,
okay. Oh my God. Do a thing where there's a fight between Moleskin and that German one, the Strom, whatever.
Oh yeah, the moleskins are the way to go.
Well, I don't know. Some people like the German one, so
Although I kind of like
you
the
should bring
Japanese
that
one.
up on your show. Like, hey, which is better? But people will then send you the Japanese traveler little notebooks. I like
Those are nice. Those are really
nice.
nice. Hold on.
Yeah, I went to a stationery store in Newton, Mass. I think I spent like $300 on little notebooks and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Little note.
What kind of pen do you have? What do you
It's
have?
a Lamy or Lamy, whatever.
A
it's German.
Lamy? That's
Yeah.
German. They're really good. So did
Yeah.
you get a ballpoint? What do you have? Roller
It's
ball?
it's not a rubber ball. It's like this
Roller ball.
the sort of the thick kind of jagged kind of endy one. It's not
a fountain pen.
It's a fountain pen because there's ink in it, but
Oh.
it's got like a spear kind of ending as opposed to like
Okay.
a ball. Yeah. If you want to hold on, I'll go grab it. But
Well, there's a thing called a vanishing point
okay.
where
Yeah, I wrote a
like
book about it.
the Parker 51s, it doesn't have like that flare out and the really cool design. So there's different types of pens. Oh, Rob, you went down the road. Yeah. Oh yeah. I have two Lamies.
Nice. Of course.
Yeah. But I
Nice.
I have a Cold War era Pelican roller ball.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's nice. I like using that. And I like the German Graf von Faber-Castells. Those are good. But what I do is I hack them. So they're roller balls, but I use the Pilot G-Tech 4 because they have a 0.25 nib on it. So they're like spidery thin.
This feels like a word problem in math.
It is. Yeah, it's
Yes.
Hey, welcome to the Weird Pen Show.
It also feels like an NPR podcast series suddenly.
Yes. Indeed. Well, it's like pen show, but of people that kind of know pens. Not like the people that's like, this has a fluid type of nib. And yeah, there's this guy called Naldi. I watch him every once in a while. So they're supposed to be rolling out the latest Mont Blanc for the year.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. No. So.
Yeah, it's kind of got like an ending like a Boxidi, but it's only like just one little thing on it. So if that helps you. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
I swear, if we just cut this section out of the podcast, we will get so many listeners.
Well,
Put this up on shorts. Just put this up on shorts on.
the best quote I had someone say.
That's amazing.
The best thing I heard someone say to me once is that said something to me after a panel 2 years ago, Dragon, not last year, was that they liked how Rox and I were both really bougie, but yet really urban squalor at the same time.
Wow.
Wow.
That's fantastic. Again, a pull quote.
That is so good. And it's so true.
Yeah. Are you coming this year?
I'm still all right.
I can only feed the conspiracy theory so long.
No, it's not that. It's
What conspiracy theory?
Well,
let me ask Widge.
Yeah.
Have you gone back?
Someone asked me last year.
COVID's a conspiracy theory.
No, someone asked me last year if we were still living in the jungle with the apes, and I'm like, what?
What?
And then someone asked if you still lived on the farm, and then someone asked me if you were still, harvesting wheat.
Wait, hang on.
I like the wheat thing.
Did someone say that Rox had been sent to live on a nice farm upstate?
Yes.
With all of her pens.
Well,
in
that's
pen
not
talk.
quite not true.
There have been Rox. There have been people from management that said, "Oh, your friend Rox isn't here this year." No, and then someone from the convention says, "Well, we'll sleep better this weekend."
Wow.
Yeah. So Widge, have you gone back?
I have not.
Okay. I have a thing about a theory. It's a
Okay.
theory.
Yeah.
And it's being at the convention for 4 days in a
Mhm.
contained area,
Mhm.
that's where the likelihood you'll get it. Now I've
Right.
been around, so just so you know, like my Thursday small claims pre-trial goes anywhere from like 100 people all up to like 250 people on a Thursday.
Okay.
But they're in and out done. But it's hanging around people for 4 days in the habit trails.
Yeah, the habit trails are a problem.
And I will say this, I have not gotten it. I
Wow.
know. Knock on wood.
Neither-
I have
neither
not
have
gotten
I.
it.
Wait,
I
am I the only one on here that so far lost out in COVID hide and seek? Wow.
I have a very rigorous schedule of like I do my shit and get the fuck out of anywhere there's people,
Yeah.
right? And I purposely planned out my panels to where they're not at peak times. So like if I'm doing a guest panel, I put an hour in between so that I can sit and hide while all the masked people
Ah.
come out of a room, and then I just walking around when everybody's in the panels and the hallways are empty.
That's a
But I've
thought.
got my own like fucking travel filters I take with me, and I've got like I5 masks.
I'm not that bad. I'm not like that though, Rob. I mean, I do take my life in my own hands, but it's
Well-
it's that kind of here's the thing, and this is the other part of the theory is I've had friends who went on cruises.
Yeah.
And when you consider you're on a tin can for like 3-4 days, like you are at Dragon Con 3-4 days in a contained area, that you will eventually, and sure as crap, she wound up getting COVID.
Well, I mean, it's
on
also
a cruise.
it's also like, okay, I'm gonna watch all of these panels in my room under the beautiful cover of Not Going Out, and then I don't eat anywhere within the perimeter of the convention. I'll like go outside the perimeter to eat,
Right.
and then I will mask like crazy. And I
Yeah.
generally, if I'm going to see somebody that weekend, I will like test out of courtesy.
Yeah.
Even if I'm sitting outside, it's just
it's debatable. If I was going to go to a convention, I was toying with going up to Providence, and that's a smaller convention.
yeah.
But honestly, at this point, and I mean, and I'm still counting myself as someone who has not gotten COVID. I mean, other than if you have other extenuating circumstances, and I'm not trying to say it's just the flu, but we've got treatment plans in place, and most of us, I would imagine, have gotten our shots. That it seems at this point, even though I'm still don't want to get it, but it feels to me like it's a little less risky at this point as far as having it.
It's the long COVID problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I need to go back and look and see what other studies they've done, but I remember that, apart from the known things that have happened from long COVID, and they don't even know why some people get it and some people don't, the severity of you having it doesn't seem to make it have any difference.
It's
you can
like
have
no rhyme or reason.
Yeah. But the one thing I know for certain, and I'm one of these people apparently now, is that they had a certain number in California. They had a certain number of brain scans that they had done on people before the pandemic hit. And they were able to compare those with the brain scans of the same people after they had had COVID. And they found that 100% of them had gray matter shrinkage that was happening at a faster rate than normal.
Than being in a pool? Oh, no, different kind of shrinkage.
For,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, being put through the dryer. But I'm very concerned about long COVID, and I'm concerned about the fact that, I mean, I tell anybody who's had it more than once to go to the doctor and, next time you're at the doctor, basically say, check me for everything you wouldn't normally check me for, just to be sure, because it can do so much stuff to you that's what I'm concerned about. Now, the good news is, hi, JJ.
Hello.
The good news is I heard that they're making progress in Helsinki on a nasal vaccine.
Oh.
That will prevent you getting it for I'm reading like months. So
Right.
But yeah, John, that's my whole thing. At this point, if they could come back and they could tell me, okay, we know that, which you're not going to get long COVID because of these things, or even there's only like a 10% chance you'll get long COVID because of these things, then maybe I would, I could at least consider it.
Yeah.
But I'm still careful, even though I've had it.
Right.
Because
Never tell me the odds.
yeah.
In fact, earlier this year, was it earlier or late last year?
Hey, DJ.
My other half had COVID, and I managed to not get it, and it was weird because we were living in the same place. It passed me by.
You and Rob.
We were even in the same. The only place that I mean, yes, you can get exposed to COVID anywhere, but we went to someone's birthday party, and we're like, well, that's probably where it happened,
right?
But yeah, nobody at that party got COVID, but it was at a bar, so all it takes is somebody, on the way to the
So-
bathroom.
Now, I will point
JJ,
out
you have
that-
not had it yet?
I have had it. I
Okay,
had
right.
I had a minor nasty case,
Mm.
but I had a nasty case, and it was over Christmas. Blech.
Okay, I'm just checking, because before you arrived, I was the only person who had lost the COVID hide and seek game, and I
Oh.
was like, I did not realize that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
John, go ahead.
I was so yeah, so I've avoided. I was even playing with a baby that turns out the next day tested positive for COVID,
Oh shit!
and I was sitting there with him bouncing on my knee and
Oh wow.
holding him and everything else, and still been
Yeah,
hail
I
science
went-
or hail something.
I went almost 3 years without getting it, and then when I took that trip to New York for my birthday a year ago, is when I finally got tagged.
Ooh. Oh, was it on the plane or something?
I have.
was-
I have a feeling I got it in Newark. I was on. Our plane got delayed for like 3 hours in the Newark airport.
There you go.
It is the only thing that comes out of Newark, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Always go to LaGuardia.
Well, I've learned nothing. I'm going back to New York later this year, and I'm flying out of JFK.
I read that basically,
Cheap ticket.
and I've read this from some virologists and stuff, is that planes, the whole thing about used air, just you're basically soaking in it for a while. It's actually not the case anymore, that they do air exchanges pretty
Mhm.
quickly on there, and they're actually fairly safe, is what I've read.
Yeah,
But,
I have been told. I have been told by my therapist
Hmm.
that the
Get
transmission-
over it.
it's taken like 5 years to get that, but yeah, deal with it. You're a fuck up. Just live with it.
I am
but,
not afraid. I'm not afraid of people. It's just I am careful where I go.
Well, I am a bus driver. I mask at work because I am exposed to hundreds of people a day.
And by that, he means he wears a Batman mask.
Yes, which covers everything except my mouth. but
And
but
he
yeah,
talks in the voice.
yes.
Next
But,
up.
Which voice? They all have
on
now a
your
different voice.
Well, I think the only one that all of us can do, every male can do, is a bad version of Christian Bale, because you just have to sound like you're about to kill yourself, and we can't all be blessed. to sound-
line.
Yeah, I'm not wearing hockey pads, but you can't. Hey, that happened here in Portland. That
Oh,
shit
wow.
ain't funny.
So for those of you following from home, Joe asked, Are these the same airlines that say their plane doors don't explode?
But to finish that, my therapist
Well
has
done,
told me that
sir.
the transmission amount on planes is negligible.
Hmm.
That's what they say so they can sleep.
That's
at
what they.
night.
Well, again, because it's so
Okay.
aired out due to the wide openings in the side of the planes.
Right. Right.
What was it? I saw.
Even COVID won't get on a Boeing.
What was it on Letterman where they showed footage of a tire off of the landing gear falling off of a Boeing as it was taking off, and they said, "Don't worry, that the fall of that was broken by another one of our planes that was grounded because the door had fallen off."
And again, having proven that I've learned nothing from the last several years. I really just wanted to get out of town this year, and this is not the best year to take a big trip. So I scheduled in September. I have just a quick little trip to go to New York to just sort of get the fuck out of town for a couple of days, and maybe taking a play or two, go to a museum. Walk around Central Park during like when fall starts. So, it's just sort of this is nice to get out of town. But I am flying out of Portland on Alaskan Airlines into the busiest city.
Yeah.
Brave man.
There you go. Good job.
It all came down to the fact that
leaving
round trip
On a
tickets, because that's American Airlines, or because Alaskan Airlines right now might be the reason, but tickets were only like $200 round trip.
What?
So I'm staying for like 3 days, 2 nights in New York for 2 people for under $1,000,
All right.
and we're
Very
staying in a hotel, like a Hilton hotel, like a hotel with a name, like on 42nd, overlooking Times Square.
good. All
It's
right.
Hilton with 2 L's.
Yeah, that could be the thing too. Yeah.
And
And your
and an
second
E where
carry-on
there's
is free if it's a parachute.
Yeah.
Right. It's a parachute.
As long as I get to carry my sleep apnea machine, fuck it. Just let me sleep. That's all I want. I'll buy new underwear when I'm there.
You can buy those on the street.
Oh,
I mean, that's last time I went. I took a flight to New York. I was there for longer, and so when we were traveling, we were like, what did we forget? What is this? What if we forget that? And it's like, oh wait, we're going to a city where we can buy shit.
You can
It's
buy
okay.
everything. Everything's at
can't-
Dwayne Reed.
you aren't
Yeah.
going to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it's like if we forget our little tiny toothpaste, yes, we can go to a Dwayne Reed and they'll have fucking toothpaste.
Yeah,
for
the
Or a
basically
bodega.
it. Not a bodega. It'll cost you an arm and a leg, but you might see a cat.
yes, that's true. Yeah, no, I have a whole checklist when I go on a trip to make sure I don't forget something. But my main thing is to just go, okay, I have my glasses, I have my contacts, I have my, if I'm bringing my laptop, I have the gear for my laptop. I can deal with anything else.
That's me and my sleep apnea machine.
Yeah, it's like do I have the shit that
children's book.
I can recover
AJ?
from?
So I
Me and my sleep
I
apnea
did this thing. I would
think you should
ship
repeat
if
that.
I was going to go visit my sister. I would ship stuff.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I literally got onto a plane and I read this article where this guy, I think he had like a small bag with like a change of underwear, change of shirt or something. He's like, I will buy stuff along the way.
Hmm.
So it was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, I got to try that. So he just walks onto a plane and he's just got like a wallet and like maybe a messenger bag. That is it. And I think it was less than that. So I did the same thing one time. Like, this is so weird. You just get off the plane, you have your stuff, you bypass having to go to the carousel to get your stuff, and then you just leave. It is weird. It is a weird thing.
Now, one thing I
Liberating,
do
but weird.
is I will send a box back,
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't check baggage unless I'm doing a huge trip. I will just shove everything into my backpack and carry that on the plane with me, and then because I'm like, okay, on the way back, I'm gonna have, I've bought a little bit of stuff, and I'm really tired at the end of the trip, so I'll ship a box back, and that way, and you know what's great packing material? Dirty clothes. I'm just saying.
When I would go to Dragon Con, I would bring gifts, and so my bag would have gifts on it on the way there. Then I'd give people their gifts, and then I would just buy geeky T-shirts there, and come back with more clothing than I had when I traveled there. So I just wouldn't really. I would pack like socks and underwear to survive, and then buy clothes while I was there.
Is it the little mic?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. It's just like rubbing up against it.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yep. Yes, that was horrible.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Okay.
It just rubs up against your shirt. That's what it was.
My sweater.
When you were gesticulating is when you could hear it. So that's why I
Oh, okay.
So that was radio. So that was airline talk.
I was going
You got
to
pen talk, airline talk. Okay, what are we going to next?
well, I
Plane
was
talk.
going to mock Rob, but he's not here. I was going
He's
to
here.
He's here.
Somewhere.
He's here, but he's not here. He's here. He's here in
he had to
Avatar.
take a call, I think.
Oh, is he the okay? Well, then I'll wait for that because
Oh, yeah.
I listened to the last episode and he said something that I very much have to address.
Oh.
Which episode was that?
It was the one where
Curious.
none of you guys could remember shit because I wasn't here to remind you.
Well, I wasn't here.
I was listening to it, and every time
So
you
I
guys,
ask you again, which episode was that?
Nice.
it was hilarious because I'm not used to the experience of not being here to help you guys out. So I was listening to it, and
We're
You
lost
know,
without you, JJ. What
and
can I
you were
say?
talking, just hearing you guys talk
Was
about.
was that the Geritol episode?
He's yelling. He's listening and yelling at the speakers like, "No!
It was weird. I was washing
You're
dishes,
thinking
and I
of
was
Lone
sitting.
Wolf and Cub."
The one I remember the most is I was washing dishes, and you guys couldn't remember the name of Trayvon Martin, and I was like, "It's Trayvon Martin."
Oh, yeah. Now I know.
And you guys were like, oh, geez, what's his name? I was like, Trayvon Martin.
Some days I do not have names.
Well,
I do
the
not
thing that-
understand why that is. In
Well, the
fact,
thing
some
that-
days,
Oh
some
yeah, I
days when I
got all
have
screwed up with
names,
names.
some days when I have names, I will pull a
could've been
name
the
out of
weed,
thin
though.
air and go, "Oh, today I have names," and then I'll just go on.
I am absolutely terrified of any form of Alzheimer's or dementia. My father died young, but also had signs of early Alzheimer's. And because that absolutely terrifies me, I hold on dearly to this thing that I heard in a brain scientist talk about, that it's perfectly normal for people of any age to drop words, to drop names, to do that thing where you're just like, you have that complete and utter brain fart and you can't remember.
Right.
As long as you stop thinking about it and it comes to you later, then you know your brain is functioning exactly the way it's supposed to. It's when it never ever comes back. So as long as you're having days where you can do that with names, you're fine, you're normal, you're good.
Oh, Trayvon
Yeah.
Martin.
There you go. See, boom.
So
You guys
day
even did it that
10,
episode.
Widge is on day 10 of trying to remember
That's a
shit.
horrible example.
He's
I shouldn't be using
freaking
that as
out.
my example.
Let's see what happens now.
Geritol.
But
Geritol.
no, I hold on to that a lot
Prevagen works.
because I do sometimes. Yeah, I get, for one thing, I have a stutter. And so if I get stuck in a stutter and I'm trying to get out of the sentence, then I just get stuck. And I'm like, well, now I can't remember where I was going because I couldn't finish the word that or whatever. So it brings me a great deal of comfort that you can, later like pull out, like today I was watching the news and saw a person on the news that for some reason I was like, that person looks exactly like Lady Elaine Fairchild. And then you realize, when's the last time you watched Mr. Rogers? And why do you remember exactly what Lady Elaine Fairchild looks like all of a sudden?
It's embedded. That's why.
It
Yeah.
is.
There are certain things, it's like you will always recognize a snuffleupagus when you see one in the wild because,
Yes.
And how often do you? But when you do, you know what
But
it is.
The Muppet
I
that makes
see
me the
him all
happiest. though.
time.
What's that?
Nothing.
There is
I
a
said I see
bush.
them all the time.
No.
Down the street from us, there is a bush that in autumn when the leaves turn, it turns this like goldeny color that they put big googly eyes, and so when you drive past it, it looks like Snuffleupagus all fall.
Wow, very cool.
But the Muppet I always get, the Sesame Street Muppet I get the most excited seeing is whenever they have Barkley the dog
Mm.
on there, because I know who that is. I've worked with him. He's a great guy.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
His name is R. Bruce Connolly, and it meant that when I met Carol,
Spinny.
Big Bird.
Spinny.
Yeah, thank you. See, it happens. You
I
just
have names. I have names today.
But
Yay!
when I met Carol Spinney, I was able to go, oh yeah, we have a mutual friend, my friend Rob, or not Rob, R. Bruce Connolly. He might know Rob, I don't know,
Yeah.
but R. Bruce Connolly. And so then his wife and Carol and I got to sit there and talk about what a great guy Bruce was.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Carol Spinney promoted me from captain to admiral, so
Nice.
I'm thrilled. Yes. So there was this non-agenda thing.
Yeah.
Thing.
There's all this stuff that's like having been trailers and stuff. Oh, you know what I didn't put on there
What?
was the Crow trailer.
Yeah.
Because I've already forgotten about it.
Oh.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
I'm watching that 3-body problem thing.
Okay.
I
How
have
is
not.
that?
Finished.
I like it.
I
Okay.
liked it.
I like it. I haven't. All right, because it's.
I didn't read the book because I don't read, but
I actually picked up the book from the library, so I've started reading that, but I'm reading Titanium Noir, which is really good. 3-year-old Bob Ross.
oh, so
Very
we should probably say Joe mentions that from off in the
Etrick.
wing says, I've been entertaining my 3-year-old with old Bob Ross, Sesame Street, Reading Rainbow, and Mr. Rogers on YouTube this year. It's been incredible.
Bob Ross.
Well, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, Rox, you were saying?
oh,
So
so
free body problem.
I was reading. So there was. I like the idea that it was like little by little they were talking to the showrunners who were behind Game of Thrones.
Right.
And it was the third showrunner that says, "Hey, has anyone read this book or the series of books? There's 3 books by the Chinese writer." And they read it. That was really cool. So I'm like, wait, a showrunner that actually reads books. Okay. So it hooked me on the fact that this is a slow invasion,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
which
It seems
love
more
that.
realistic.
yeah, and 2, it's really good because of getting a viewpoint from a science fiction writer from another country comes up with something so unique.
Yes.
Stanislaw Lem from Poland.
I love that.
He was instrumental in Solaris and a
Mhm.
couple of other stuff where they come up with something so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think John Wyndham, who did Dunwich or the
Triffids.
Triffids and the Midwich Cuckoos.
Yep.
He came out. He was on a radio show or a TV show and said, U.S. writers are interested in rockets. Great Britain is not. So he came up with science fiction that he knew would be relatable to the readers in Great Britain. So here you have something that is such a slow burn
Mm-hmm.
because you have the whole Chinese culture, the whole Mao situation and stuff, and the uniqueness of the ending of the first episode is less like, wait, what did she just do? Was it the first episode, Rob? Or John? John.
with
The
which
female
event are you
character.
which event
Yeah.
are you talking about?
The first episode.
Right. I've watched
When
the whole
she-
series, so
Oh, you
I've already
did?
finished it.
yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Ripped right
I'm
through
sort
it.
of I'm taking my time because there is a lot to take in.
I mean,
this.
it is there is a lot to take in. I think you're referring to that message. Is that what you're referring
Yeah,
to?
the message.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first episode, right? Or second?
I
I think it may
I
have
think
been
it might have been the
second.
second episode, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. But
It feels like
still,
it was the second
just
one,
like,
but I don't know because to me it's just 8 hours of programming.
Right. Well,
well,
and
that's where. All right. So that is where I'm not doing the binge.
Well, I mean, I did it across like 4 nights, but yeah.
Well, I'm kind of dragging it on a little bit just so that elements could, because they're actually talking science and stuff in the series. It's like I just finished the Agency, William Gibson's near future stuff, and he came up with an interesting take on time travel, which was through information. Where we're so used to, okay, a body has to go back in time, opposed to, well, what if you somehow digitize information and then you can send it backwards or forwards in time? It's very interesting.
Using tachyons?
Something like that.
Okay.
So that's but that's with Gibson. Going back to the 3-body problem, it almost harkens back to, remember, I don't know, 1950s sci-fi where you have generational ships.
Yes.
You know, the idea that it's going to take 100 years for anyone to get to Alpha Centauri. So it's a generational ship. And that's what this is. And it's a very slow, unlike V or something where it's like, hey, we're here and then we're infiltrating. It's a very slow. In the interest, the cool thing is it's almost like we have to pave the way, almost like a religious cult, for the invader.
How many episodes are you in?
I finished 3.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting because
it's just the reason you saying some of those things is just, it's very interesting, and they cover some of the characters that they have. Sometimes do some things I'm just like, why would you ever do something that dumb? But they cover their bases from a general story standpoint of it all sort of makes sense at the end of why this is happening and how this is happening. And even if some of it is very, very science fiction-y and very, very futuristic, but you can imagine, well, they're able to travel 400 light years. So, that's obviously they have technology that's beyond ours. So some of it would make, you can go, okay, that makes sense. But also you can only travel so fast. So,
Right.
They do a very good job of it. My wife, the only thing my wife was concerned about, she goes, "Oh wait, so these are the guys from Game of Thrones?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm a little concerned of how they're going to land this at the end."
Yeah.
I'm like, I think they already have all the content. They know. Part of the problem with where they went with Game of Thrones is once they sort of got off the books,
they ran out of the road.
like, whoa, we don't know where anything's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
sorry,
and
what you're saying.
It's interesting that the 2 things I'm reminded of, Rox, when you're talking about that, is there was a great series, and I wish they'd stuck with it. Grant Morrison did a new version of Marvel Boy, and part of the concept I loved was he had basically said he was Kree, so he said, I claim the Earth. This is mine. I will conquer it. And then there was an invasion by a mimetic virus that basically was a corporation. So it was like a group think thing that had come in, and he said, "Well, this is my conquered territory, so therefore I have to defend the Earth," and it was a great way of getting him to fight. You know, he's like, "Well, this is mine. I got here first. You can't have it." But I just
Right.
love that idea of this corporation was just spreading over a mega corporation that was an alien creature was spreading around the globe. But the other thing was the Doctor Who slow invasion, where they had the little cubes that just showed up
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and were everywhere. And just like we would, you just got used to them being around
Yeah.
until it was time.
Yeah.
And I just loved that because it was such a great take on it. I will say this though. If you enjoy Three Body Problem, they did Netflix I think has it, but it was a Chinese production. The Wandering Earth is based on one of his short stories.
Oh.
And it is a massive Irwin Allen disaster movie type thing. I don't know how true
Wow.
it is to the book, but basically the idea is the sun is dying, and so we decide we're going to put giant engines on the Earth and move it to another solar system. It's insane. It's absolutely batshit crazy.
Oh.
But that's Irwin Allen. You know, it's like
Yeah. Yes.
you know, Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno. It's that same
Oh
thing.
my
but the other-
God, that Goliath one. Did you ever? That was a good one.
Well, the other
Frank
thing about
Gorshin
Wandering
was in that
Earth
one.
is
Yeah.
it was like a $250 million epic. I have never seen production values like this before. It was crazy. Like there's a closet. One of the characters is basically a closet that he's living in, and you see it once, and there's the detail in it is just fantastic. So I really enjoyed it. Apparently there was like a prequel movie that came out that I'd forgotten about that I need to go check out. But yeah,
And that's the Wandering Earth.
Wandering Earth. It is even more batshit than I described, and as a result, it's a lot of fun because you just go, okay, well this is absurd, so I can just check out for the most part. My brain can just go over here, and I can just watch the crazy people trying to move a planet. So
I will say this: Phil Wang shows up randomly in Three Body Problem, and I was like trying to figure out why is he in this. And then it finally dawned on me, and you have to. I don't want to spoil it, but it finally dawned on me what's actually going on in this alternate sort of reality thing. But I was like, that's like that's a very random person, and he didn't really have any lines. He was just sort of standing there.
Yeah.
You know who Phil Wang is, right?
Yeah,
The comedian. Yeah, from
Taskmaster with the
We'll never forget that yellow jumpsuit.
oh yes,
ever.
thank
the
you.
Wang.
The Bruce
Yes.
Lee jumpsuit.
Yes, with the Wang,
Let it all hang
as he
out.
said. But
one of the gifs that they keep posting on the Taskmaster social media accounts is him doing the hula hoop. Yep. And in fact, when they moved from what was it? Like Dave to Channel 4 on Twitter, they actually did a handoff from Dave to Channel 4 of the GIF. They're basically like, this is yours now. Take it. Thank you very much.
a man as objectified as John Cena from the last Oscars.
Oh yeah. Yes. That was good.
That was brilliant. But yeah, there you go. The suits alone. Good God, man.
Yeah, I'm on a break with Netflix, but next time Netflix and I are talking again.
I understand.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm not mad at Netflix. I just,
it's me, not you.
it's my paycheck.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go, oh, well, I want to watch, like, quite frankly, you prioritize. And right now, Drag Race is on. So I need access to MTV.
That's smart. That's smart.
So,
Oh.
I thought you
Yeah.
were saying drag racing, and I was a little worried.
No,
So-
I don't
no,
care about
that's-
cars. I care more about gay people than cars.
Hey, there's
So-
another. Put that one down. Boy, we're having a lot of like album book jacket material tonight.
So we recently suspended our YouTube TV account because we were just figuring out if we can get away with not doing that because it's like $90 a month.
Slang.
Um,
Whoa.
Ooh, what?
well,
What?
yeah,
What do you
Yeah,
get?
no,
Is
it's
it
horrible. That's why-
monogrammed? What the fuck?
That's why I do Sling. Sling is 40, and I get everything I want from Sling that I would have gotten from YouTube TV.
Good
well, I had
God.
the sports package and all this other stuff on it. So,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
No.
but anyway, so anyway, we suspended. But one of the things that it would catch is because it would record. You can record all your local channels and whatnot. So we get the local channel PBS,
Hmm.
and my wife loves Call the Midwife. So one of the problems was that when we got rid of that, there's no way to get that until you wait for it to come on to Netflix eventually, which is like 2 years behind or whatever.
Right.
And then so I was like, there's got to be some other way to watch. Turns out you can donate, really any amount to your local PBS station and get
Yeah.
access to their
Uh-huh.
PBS app, and it has all the programming right there.
Huh.
It's like, oh, well, okay. So we
It's also
we
on
donated. We
BritBox.
want to
This
donate
is
60
this
bucks.
is okay. So this is like that, three body problem. This has been PBS's long game for a long time. They're like, we're
Well,
just
I will tell you this:
waiting.
I have never gotten so much mail so quickly from any organization than I donate money
Wow.
to get access to their app for a year or whatever, and suddenly I'm getting tons of emails, tons of hey, check with your employer, see if they'll match this.
Did you
Hey,
get the tote? Did you get the
No.
tote?
I don't know what season or how many seasons are on Call the Midwife or whatever, but I do know it's also on BritBox.
Yeah, we didn't want to pay. We didn't want to give the English any money.
Yeah. But it's also the
We
best
already
way-
won a war against them. What else do we have to do?
Oh, Jesus.
It's
Wow.
it's
Which
how I
one? You
get
won a couple.
it's how I get the most recent episodes of Would I Lie to You. So
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're talking. I spend I think $100 just on the New York Times and Wall Street Journal. So I have nothing to say.
The library near us, you can check out with your library card online the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times.
that's nice.
Your library should let you do that. You should talk to them about it.
Well, and
Oh, wait,
so
it's Florida. You get crayons and paper.
well, oh, well, I have like 5 library cards from different places and a private library,
And I
so
think-
I should. But the thing is it's so easy off of a tablet and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, it's all digital. It's not in print.
Come
It's
your
digital.
private
No, it-
library,
yeah.
yep.
A library with covers.
Just make sure DeSantis doesn't
your
know you're on
library
that
card.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a DeSantis list now, Rox. You're in trouble.
It's
I didn't say his name. It's like Beetlejuice. I don't say his name.
That trailer looked pretty good.
It did actually.
And I like the fact they decided to call it Beetlejuice. That's
That's
just
perfect.
smart.
Yeah.
I did not see this. I did not even know it was a thing.
Yes, there is a trailer out for it now. And it looks like Tim Burton decided to make a movie that looked like a Tim Burton movie did years ago.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I remember that people forget these things. You guys probably don't, but most people do. Is that they go, "Oh yeah, Michael Keaton was a great Batman." I remember when Michael Keaton got cast as Batman, everybody lost their shit.
Oh, they thought it was terrible
It's
casting.
terrible. And I said, no. Wait a minute. Go back and watch Beetlejuice again.
Yeah.
It's why
He's
Oh.
dangerous. He's not. It's not just funny. He's dangerous.
Yep.
it's why. Well, also I would say from shit. Was it Night? It's not. It's,
Pacific Heights.
Well, there's that one, but no,
Yeah.
it's the one that he did with Henry Winkler, where they ran the morgue. They ran
Oh,
a
Night Shift.
Oh, Night
Night
Shift
Shift. I was
was
trying to say
so
Night Patrol.
good.
Yeah, Night Shift. He's also
Yeah.
pretty unhinged and kind of dangerous in that as well.
Mm.
That's
Oh,
kind of
Mr. Mom, come on.
yeah. but it's why I personally think after seeing From Dusk Till Dawn, I honestly believe Clooney could be an amazing Batman
If he was given the opportunity.
if given the right movie. He was given the complete utter wrong movie,
No, I know.
but I think
No
that
one-
if given the chance,
No one blames him. I know
No.
he blames himself because he said so on multiple occasions, but
yes.
nobody blames him. It's not him. But
See what I
yeah.
mean? It looks like a pretty good trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got the new Winona Ryder to play the old Winona
Ryder's
Ryder.
daughter, yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah,
Winona
exactly.
Ryder's in it too, right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the only original cast member that I know for a fact that's not coming back is Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey
No,
Jones.
Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones,
Yeah.
yes, sorry.
Is Baldwin and Gina Davis not in it?
That we have no idea yet.
Yeah, I
That
would
would be a
surprised at this
surprise.
point if Baldwin was in it. 'cause-
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of possibly on trial.
Yeah.
Well,
But
if it's
he's-
already in the can,
Yeah.
What? The film?
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some,
No,
especially
Baldwin.
since,
He's in the can.
He's
but
in the
especially
can.
since the map was covered, or not the map, the model was covered. I wouldn't be surprised if you found out that they
Mm.
got their business done and moved on or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, Catherine O'Hara's even in it still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's the shit now.
She's been the
Catherine.
shit.
She
Isn't
has
she-
been.
Isn't she your aunt?
What? Oh,
Wasn't
I
she your
wish.
aunt?
I
Yeah.
wish. I wish
But-
she'd be like my next door neighbor lady.
That
I
is
would-
pretty freaking cool.
We could
go
pitch
into
that
the courthouse again.
not to Netflix because we'd want it to last more than one season, but we could totally pitch that.
Somewhere there's a world where Rox, Catherine O'Hara, and Vicki Lawrence all live together.
Oh, what was it? I think I saw it on
It was
Facebook
on-
where at a convention you could get your picture taken with Vicki Lawrence, but she was in full mama gear.
Yeah, she's doing it now.
Wow.
That is so cool.
That is cool. It is cool when actors do that.
Oh, the other one I saw was
CCH Pounder did that for Warehouse 13.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that I just saw, and I need to post this actually. At a convention, James Hong and I forget the guy who played the Storm from Big Trouble in Little China. James Hong was dressed as Lopan,
Oh wow.
and they basically did the bit, the ritual with the swords and the two brides,
Wow.
and they used I like two cosplayers for the audience for the two brides who were dressed appropriately, and the guy did the sword dance thing and everything, and I was just like, to see that live must have been amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just be like, if I was Vicki Lawrence, I would say just please just tell me off. Just please tell me off.
No,
In
yeah,
any form or fashion, just please do it.
that's right.
Wouldn't everyone think she's just Lee though?
Oh, wow.
For one thing, I think she's a lot taller.
Ooh.
Isn't everybody?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think Hervé Villachez is probably taller at this point.
Ow.
Ooh, too
Ow.
soon.
Love you, Lee, but you're short.
That's Sleepy.
They got you there, Lee. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, no one's seen her in a while, so it's like just like Kate Middleton.
Ooh,
I
too
hope Lee's
soon.
feeling better than that.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, Rob. I
Yes.
do have one thing that I need to. I when you were
Oh,
not
there's
here, I
a
said
fight coming on.
I have something that I do
Okay.
have to address with you just a little bit. It's something that
Wow.
I
you
know.
told Widge that he needed to check out. It was on the last episode. I listened to it, and you told Widge he had to check something out, and I just hope he hasn't done it yet, so I can now tell Widge Rob is completely wrong. Do not check out Old Skull. Do not. That band is shit.
I know. That's why I told him to. Because
I would rather listen to the Shags.
Well, Old Skull. When I told him to listen to it, it was because it was ironic and terrible.
Okay, so
You have to understand, Widge loves Wesley Willis. So if you love Wesley Willis and appreciate what the train wreck that is, you will love Old Skull as well.
So I picked up that album when it was fucking new.
Yes, I did too.
And I was a young man learning how to play in bands and stuff. I was playing bass, and I remember hearing that and going, I have never gotten angrier. How did these motherfuckers put this pay someone to record this, put it onto physical media, and get it picked up on by news outlets for my ass to hear about it, and me pick it up going, oh, it's a bunch of kids playing hardcore. Okay. And then I just, after hearing the fucking Hot Dog Hell song and then that fucking Homeless song, I was
the
like,
Homeless song is great. It's so terrible. It's great.
The only thing about that song that is wonderful is I do believe that more songs should end with the words "fuck you, Ronald Reagan."
Yes.
That is what makes that song great.
Homeless people got no homes. I mean, come on, it's poetry.
Why don't they have a home?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ronald Reagan. Or is it I hate you, Ronald Reagan? Not fuck you. They're kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
Ronald
don't.
Reagan.
I'm not a fan of Wesley Willis.
We talked about Wesley Willis once, and you appreciated the terribleness of Wesley Willis. When I say fan, I don't mean, but yeah.
Are you thinking of oh God, what's his name? Oh no! I lost my names!
That's okay. Give us a little information, maybe we can help you.
It's another outsider type musician.
Crispin Glover, Wesley
No.
Willis.
Like I said, the Shags.
The Shags basically get the one song on Halloween, and then nobody listens to them after that.
Yeah, but they have like 2 or 3 albums.
Milkman.
Oh, I know, but
I was trying to explain them earlier to Elizabeth, like exactly the deal with the Shags, and she was like, "Oh, that sounds like child abuse." I'm like, "That's it, that's it."
Dead Milkman.
Yeah, but they have talent.
I like
Yeah.
Dead Milkman.
I do.
Yeah.
Any song that also references Minnie Pearl. Come on.
yeah,
And the late Mojo Nixon.
That's right.
yeah, that's really sad.
Oh my God, yeah, it is sad. I like Mojo Nixon.
Hang on, I gotta.
But I
find
mean,
it.
the Bloodhound Gang mentioned Minnie Pearl, but it's not necessarily making them
Not the
worthwhile.
same. Not the same.
And that's the first mention of the Bloodhound Gang in 10 years.
there you go.
We said them twice. They're going to appear if we say it one more time.
Oh God,
Uh-oh.
Whenever there's trouble, they're there on the double.
Hazel Atkins.
Oh,
Yeah, that may be who you're thinking of. Not Wesley Willis, but
we
Hazel Atkins.
have talked about Wesley Willis before,
I don't
and
remember.
just how terrible Wesley Willis was.
I mean, I haven't heard that much stuff.
We were talking
by
about the Ice Cube song. Ice Cube, Ice Cube. Yeah.
I must have done it during a fugue.
I
Don't
miss
know.
that song.
Yeah, no, not as familiar.
Okay.
But yeah, Hazel Atkins amuses me.
Old Skull will not. They're crap.
Yes, and that was mostly irony, but it's one of those things you have to listen to a record that's so bad every once in a while. It's really appreciated.
The Ethel Merman disco album.
Yes.
The Pat Boone quote unquote metal album.
Yes, but the Ethel Merman disco album is just it's high art because basically somebody said, I'll pay you $25,000. So she came to the studio and she basically sang the songs in like 7 to 10 minutes and said, okay, I'm done. Where's my money? And wanted her money given to her in a briefcase of small bills. And then she left and that was it.
It's great.
Have you ever, I don't remember the name of the documentary now, but there's a documentary about the song poems, the
Yeah.
people that would write lyrics and then send them off to get records made out of it, and
Yeah.
then these studio musicians just
Yeah.
cut through like 8 hours of.
Oh, I haven't
Oh.
heard that. What's the
I'm really trying to remember the name right now. It's something like from like page to record or something, but it is a
Ooh.
brilliant documentary.
Hmm.
And there are a couple of songs like I'm a ginseng cutter that will they will stick in your head. But yeah, the thing
Wow.
is these people write these poems and send them into this place that would cut it into a 45, and they would send you the 45, and the whole idea was then you could be rich. But because you could send it to you could send it to radio stations and stuff and have the hit, and they're all crap. But the brilliant thing about it is these just incredibly seasoned studio musicians that can play one take by sight reading. And so because the whole idea is to do it, there you go, off the charts.
Ooh, off the charts. Okay.
And it is a brilliant documentary. Thank you for finding that, John.
Wow.
That is my sole purpose here.
Thank you.
It kind of brings me back to many years ago. One of the first episodes of this I ever heard. Our friend Ken Plume. You guys were trying to get him to. You were trying to get some. I don't remember the whole thing, but he was trying to get you to play a Monkey song, like just by mentioning it. And it was. I just remember hours and hours and hours of being a Monkees fan. Hours and hours and hours of going. Come on, John, get it, get it, because that was back in the days when the show used to be sometimes 5 hours.
Yeah.
As opposed to
Oh,
here, 3.
Yeah.
Good
yeah,
lord.
5 hours. I remember that. That's when we phoned it
Been here for
in.
5 hours. You're gonna do the introductions?
Oh my god.
Oh, we don't have to. The Irishman's not here.
That's true.
But that's back when I used to be a baker, and your shows used to carry me through an entire shift sometimes.
Well,
Wow.
they served a purpose. So
They did.
someone added Frozen Empire.
Oh.
Oh, I saw that. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
My daughter said, and she hasn't seen it, but my daughter said that it looks as if movies had DLC.
Yeah, I mean,
That's good.
it pretty much follows the formula of the first Ghostbusters to make it work.
Okay.
And they put a few interesting, unexpected cameos in it that are like really kind of cool, and a couple callbacks to the original movie that are cool.
Is Sigourney Weaver in it?
No,
Well, forget it.
Spoilers.
I mean I could spoil it, but I don't want to do
No,
that.
don't spoil it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the places they go to from the first movie. Some of the people that were like in the first movie come back, and they're very short roles, and it's not overdone. They just don't bring them back gratuitously. They're like, "Hey, we're here. We have a funny bit, and then we leave, and it works, right?" I think it tries to do more than the other films have done, and clearly they had an effects budget, and
That they didn't have to spend the entire thing on trying to make Harold Ramis look like he was there.
yeah, so they didn't do that. So
Thank fuck. It was fine. But man, that lasted too long.
yeah,
I
But,
didn't mind that film. I thought it was all right.
I thought the film was fine. I do remember when I watched it, I was like, oh, look, Harold Ramis. Okay, we got it. He's still there.
yeah,
He's hugging everybody.
yeah.
Okay, now he's making a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Mr. Brightside.
Wait,
Now he's calling a
he's back.
cab.
It's if you love the original Ghostbusters and you're a big fan of like the nostalgia of it,
Mm.
you will love that.
But how does it hold up as a comedy?
It's not a comedy, really.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I had this same discussion with my friend though. I argue that the first Ghostbusters was not a comedy either.
I don't think it is either. I think
It has comedic moments.
Yeah.
and that's what this is too. It's sort of got comedic flourishes to it. Yeah.
Well, I could have a whole conversation with you about this. I agree with you, but it's of an era where comedy was character first, as opposed
Yeah.
to we have to have X amount of jokes per minute.
And
Mm.
this doesn't do that.
Right.
They don't overuse Bill Murray either, which is great.
That is good.
And
Probably 'cause he didn't
the
want to
thing
work.
that I love about it, that a lot of other people
yeah,
don't
no
love
interest
about
in
it.
being there.
Well, the thing I love about it more than most people is that they really, in the same way they did in the first one, they really let Ernie Hudson like chew up scenery and do stuff
Good.
because that dude deserves it.
I will say, of the stuff that I've seen kind of promoting the film, there is a band called, I'm going to slaughter this pronunciation,
Weird name.
Tarashigako ! It's a Japanese girl group that covered that did a version of the Ghostbusters theme for the movie, and it fucking rocks.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a J-pop group, J-pop girl group, and I like went down a deep rabbit hole of checking out their shit, and I'm like, oh, cool.
But no,
Okay.
it's it the best Ghostbusters film they could have made? No, but it's perfectly solid, you know.
It's got to be better than the second one.
Yeah.
The which second one?
The
original
Ghostbusters
second.
2.
Oh, okay.
Which I heard Bill Murray once say, and I think he's right. If you watch it, okay, I disagree with the fact that I don't think they should have made the Ghostbusters losers, which, you know, they start out from an underdog point of view, and I think that's a weak choice.
Mm.
But he did say, if you watch the movie and think about what the film was like before the special effects people got in and fucked up the timing, he was like, we made a good movie, and then the special effects people came in and fucked up everything,
Mm.
and the movie does fall apart.
I never saw them as lose because
Playing children's parties.
well, what?
They save the end. The first one ends with them saving New York and being heroes, and the
Well-
second
Right.
one opens with them playing children's parties.
Right.
That
No, no.
always did strike me as odd.
Well, my thing is like it's based in New York City. Anybody can have the weirdest job in the world, and you wouldn't call that person a loser. You know, it's just like this is what we do. You know.
Well, I think the point is that they went from they're you know, they had Giuliani type high
high
to
and
Giuliani
and
high
they just-
or Giuliani low.
yeah.
It's sort of
The press
know-
conference where Egon was leaking hair
Yeah.
dye, it was bad.
Right.
slime. It was actually Slimer. But you know, that all of a sudden, just in a period of what was it, like 2-3 years after?
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
saved-
it wasn't
Yeah,
that-
you know, I'm glad to know that. I didn't realize that the special effects folks fucked up the script. So that's good to know. That's
Well, I mean, when I rewatched it, I tried to evaluate the script and sort of picture what the timing was like without the lengthy special effects, and then put the special. It's kind of like the first Star Trek movie. So when Robert Wise made that first Star Trek movie, they had never. I mean, Star Wars had done that kind of special effects movie, but Paramount had never done anything like
Mhm.
that, and so they hired so many studios to do the different shots that they didn't get it in until, you know, they didn't get the special effects shots until like the day the movie had to be finalized. So literally every second of special effects created for that movie are in that movie, which is why that movie drags, because they didn't get to edit any of it. And that's kind of what happened with Ghostbusters. If you pay attention, like the timing's pretty good there when they're not having these lengthy special effects shots of like pictures moving and the
Oh, I see
Statue of
what you're
Liberty
saying.
walking down New York. And
Oh.
and so the timing is everything. You know, they
Mm.
might have been able to get away with a weaker story if the movie had progressed, you know, a good 15 minutes faster.
Ah.
I
But-
see what you're saying.
So-
They cut up scenes so that they could show the visual effects that, you know, dialogue and whatnot that
Yeah.
might have. Yeah, okay, I get it.
You turn off the movie fan part of your brain and turn on the director part of your brain, and you're like, okay, I see where the writer wrote the movie and where the movie ended up is not the same.
And then, but how much is that blamed on can be blamed on special effects as much as the editor, right?
Yeah, and also
He's the one that put it in there.
And also, Bill Murray has a higher opinion of what the script was, I think, than I do. But I at least see his point.
I'm just like, I just remember with the whole Statue of Liberty thing going, this is ridiculous, and they've lost me completely. And for that kind of film to go, that's too ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty out there.
I mean, the thing that pulls me out of these like new sequels more than anything else is the overuse of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I'm like, that was a one gag thing in the first movie, and now why do we keep having tons and tons and tons of little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, because that was like, when you consider that was like Dan Aykroyd's character as a memory.
Yeah.
So
the one
it wasn't
thing
even
that
like,
could never harm him.
yes.
And in the first one, they at least are battling Gozer. Now, I haven't seen this one, so I don't know why. I don't know why the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men pop up again, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But
how prominent? I guess because Rob's the only one who's seen it. I do want to see it still. But how prominent is a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the? Without spoiling anything,
it's in it.
I mean, we know what's in it, but
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just leaving it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I very much want to see the film. It's one of 2 movies coming out this summer that I want to like actually make time to go see that one. And I think whether it's good or bad, I have seen every Godzilla movie in the theater since I think Godzilla 1985.
Oh, wow.
So did you see Godzilla -1?
Oh my God, yes.
It's
I heard it's
amazing.
fantastic. I didn't get to see it, but
It might be my
Dude.
favorite film of last year.
Yeah,
It
mine
is-
too.
I mean, it just won. Oh, fuck Oppenheimer. I would have given it to Godzilla -1.
so the irony is that without Oppenheimer, Godzilla
It's
doesn't
the
happen, so-
prequel to Godzilla
Yeah.
-1.
Oh yeah.
But it is the first Godzilla movie I've ever seen that if you took Godzilla completely out of it, it's an award-winning movie,
Mhm.
and it's got Godzilla in it.
All right.
Absolutely
praise.
fucking brilliant.
What's the other film though? Never mind. You already said it was
It would be-
Godzilla versus.
Well, but yeah, but the other film that's in there is just it's a film of the repercussions of what it was like to be in Japan after World War II.
Yeah, it's almost like a period piece.
It's and without explaining why, without explaining the story too much, because I don't want to give away too much of what the story has to say. It really looks at what it meant to be there in that period of time, and what that meant for the characters to go through it, and how the attack of Godzilla gives some characters a chance to make different decisions with their lives. And so Godzilla is more than just a monster MacGuffin. It's actually part of character growth, and so that Godzilla makes sense in the story. Besides, bum 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 smash. But I love that, so I will go see it again.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that the new Kong Godzilla will be just as batshit crazy as the last one.
Yeah.
Because I just remember sitting down going, I'll start this, see how it is. And by the end of the credits, I was like, I'm in. I'm so completely in that you've set this up beautifully. And so by the time you get to anti-gravity crystals, center of the earth, it's like magical axe, I'm like, whatever, dude, I'm here. Let's do it.
With the one before that, with Godzilla King of Monsters, they were nice enough to do something incredibly stupid with the plot. I see what you're saying, but they did something stupid with the plot so early that I was like, oh, this is the kind of movie where this stupid act makes sense. Where they had this high security area and this little kid just runs in to be with her mom. And I'm like, And at first I was like, what the fuck? How are you running into this high security area? And I was like, oh, wait. This is a movie where little kids run into high security areas. Got it. Okay. That's where the level of sense is. If that's the logic level, if we stay there, I'm fine. I just accept it as that now.
Yeah. I just remember, basically I liked the previous Godzilla Kong and I liked Skull Island.
Yeah.
And I liked Skull Island because very, very seldom do I get wishes granted, cinematically speaking. And I remember watching King Kong, all 12 hours of it, and thinking, man, if they could just remove the Skull Island sequence from this film and make a movie about that, that would be great, because that sequence in the film was spectacular.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they did, and it was everything I hoped for. Random monsters running around eating people, danger everywhere. It's like, the only thing I think is like, just like Fury Road, they put out the black and chrome version of that where you could watch it in black and white. I want them to go back and do Skull Island, where they remove all the CG and do all the dinosaurs Harryhausen style.
Ooh.
Keep everything the same, but
Yeah.
just the stop motion. And I'd be like, I would absolutely watch that. I would buy it today.
I used to work when I worked at a bakery here in Portland. I used to work for an English woman whose mother was one of Harryhausen's associates.
Whoa.
So she grew up with Harryhausen models
Oh
as her toys.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so cool.
And she was like, where people, some people
my
had Barbies and stuff. I
gosh.
had Harryhausen skeletons.
Wow. Well, how much? We'll have to look this up. The King Kong. Well, no, he would have like Mighty Joe Young. I think that maquette went for a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I'm sure.
he had the skeleton, I think, was all that was left.
But
Yes,
but that's part of the collector's market. Is part of the reason that goes up and becomes so expensive is because the person I used to work for played with some of them as toys, and it creates scarcity. That's why never ever ever buy a collector's issue of a comic. It's never going to be worth anything. Buy some shit comic that nobody cares about, and then the character becomes amazing, and then everybody's mom throws them away. That's how you make money, and you can't plan it.
Yeah. JJ, did you see Mad God?
Mad God. I'm going to say no because that doesn't ring a bell immediately.
It's the Phil Tippett insane.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a stop motion film that took him like 25 years to make.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's 94% all stop motion. There is some live action stuff in it, but it's blended really well, and it's just a complete it's not even a mind grope. It's a mind fuck, because it is a total nightmare vision. But the level of detail in it is astonishing, where you just go, how sometimes you say, oh, I can't see where the budget went on this film. And then other times you go, I could totally see where the budget went on this film. It's like, I could see where the 25 years went on this film.
Yeah.
No wonder you almost had a nervous breakdown making this. I'm amazed you're still alive. So
that sounds amazing. I would like to see that.
I would love to hear your take on it, because it was crazy. I think it's on. I know it's on Shudder at least, but I know it's it's probably on some other things as well.
Okay.
I've basically said that when Criterion comes out with a version of it, which I'm sure they will eventually, they need a Werner Herzog commentary on it, which would be astonishing, because it just to hear his take on it, total nightmarish insanity. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like you can rent it off of Google Play for about $4. So
it's totally worth it.
if
Totally worth
And if it has a physical copy, I can just go rent it from Movie Madness here,
There you go. But
which has been my new thing lately. I like a lot of people. Sometimes anxiety gets the better of you, and like anxiety, depression, or whatever, and it's very hard to focus on movies.
yeah,
So what I've been doing lately is, rather than getting trapped in the cycle of streaming services, although I have several of them, but you're like, oh, I should watch that sometime. I should watch that sometime. Portland has this great place that's a building that houses DVDs that you can pick one up and they will hand it to you, and you can take it home and you have a couple of days to watch it, which gives
Nice.
you a window where you have to watch it or you owe more money. It's
I
great.
remember what that was like.
Wow.
It's like if Netflix was a building. But the other thing about it is they have a lot of movie props there as well. And so they've got, like, the most recent thing they just got was one of Michelle Yeoh's gowns from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Nice.
But also, there's things in there like, PJ Souls lunchbox from Rock and Roll High School, John Wayne's gun from The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. So, which, I don't know of many people around me that are going to be as excited as I am about that. And I fucking love that movie, and I'm like, that's actually the gun that shot Liberty Valance. Spoiler.
Wow.
For a movie that came out before any of us were born. They have just the amount of props they have is absolutely insane. And it's, everything from, like I said, that to, like, the knife from the original Scream and all that. So you can, not only do they have, an amazing selection, but they have, movie props, and they were, and Portland has designated them a historic landmark, so they can't go away.
All right.
Their rent went up and they were afraid they were gonna have to close it, and they petitioned, and the city, it now is owned by the same people who have a theater here in town called the Hollywood Theater, which is a nonprofit historic landmark, and now Movie Madness is in that whole complex, and they are all historic landmarks, and they can't be destroyed.
Very nice.
So we will have a rental store here forever and ever and ever.
Oh,
That's
very
awesome.
cool.
You-
Hey
you
kids,
can,
I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta go.
I gotta go. Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for us before you go?
Well, Three Body Problem.
Okay.
Mhm.
So there's been so much press about the show, people are actually attempting to read the book. So it's kind of a really cool thing where the interest in the book has gone up. So I guess that's back on the New York Times reading list.
Okay.
I'm reading Titanium Noir, which is a sci-fi noir murder mystery, and I'm
Cool.
comparing that when I'm reading that, I'm reading Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon.
Nice.
Which it's kind of interesting. It's about people augmenting, their bodies and stuff to become these what are called titans, and reversing back your physical age and stuff. And of course, there's a murder. There's a fat man in it, and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's just got almost all the hallmarks of the Maltese Falcon characters. And the writer does a really great job on that snappy dialogue that you read in the old pulp, as far, talking back to, the person who's kidnapped you and stuff.
Right.
Whereas, so it's an entertaining read. It's more like popcorn, it's popcorn type of book. But Titanium Noir by Nick Harkaway. I guess too, there's been a lot of interest in Dune, so pick up that book. And
The appendix is great.
The appendix is good, yes. And let's see. I think that's all I got, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, I got stuff tomorrow. I got mediations.
All right,
So
go do
see you
legal stuff.
guys. Okay, well.
Thanks, Rox.
Bye.
Bye.
Where's the button?
But what was it? Doc told me about. I think it was Dashiell Hammett who said the thing about writing noir is that if you ever are not sure what to do next in the story, just have a bad guy kick in the door with a gun. Doesn't matter if there's no way they could know that the good guy was in town. Doesn't matter if it makes sense. No one's going to care. Just have a bad guy kick in the door with a gun.
And in a bit of a segue here, I will say on the non-agenda,
Yes.
that one of the things I have heard is a bit of a influence on the new show, The Acolyte, is the writings of Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett.
So the Acolyte, what is it? Like a Jedi serial killer? What the hell? Because I wasn't sure watching the trailer what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's so I have a little fear here in the fact that the right kind of Star Wars crowd is going to go, oh, this sounds fascinating, but there's a lot there for the shitheads to grab a hold of as well. And I also don't know that they necessarily do a good job of explaining, even in the ads, like when this takes place. So it takes place roughly 100 years before the Star Wars prequels.
Okay.
So it should take place in a time where there are no Sith. So whoever is the bad guy should be a different kind of enemy, which will be a little bit more interesting. But it also takes place at a time where the Jedi are plentiful and just sort of, random out there do-gooders. And so yes, someone is basically a serial killer for the Jedi, and then they send out a Jedi out there to sort of investigate, which is where the sort of Dashiell Hammett, like talking to the underworld and the working class of the galaxy, should come into place. But I mean, until we see the show, we don't know if it'll actually happen or not.
Yeah, I saw someone pointed out that in that sequence where John's playing the trailer for us, for those who are unable to see this, but basically the bit where he says close your eyes, and there's the one kid
the one puppet that can't close its eyes.
Yeah, it has no eyelids, so it's like what do you that's gotta suck.
Yeah, but it also gives us Trinity as a Jedi. I'm down.
No, seriously. I mean,
it almost is Matrix-like in her powers.
Yeah. And so I was just curious about it, since it seemed like that's what it was, but I kind of dig the idea.
I'm also excited by the fact that it is it's one of the first projects in Star Wars that is being created by someone who was born well and truly after Star Wars was, most people will tell you, when they make Star Wars, they're like, I remember seeing Star Wars in 77.
Yeah.
This is by someone who, was introduced to it by the prequels. They're a different generation, and it's a show that was created, written, directed by women, and so hopefully it will be a different take on Star Wars.
That sounds great. I mean, I was talking with somebody online about part of the thing that I wish they had done with The Crow is not remake it necessarily, even though I'm okay with remakes.
Yeah,
but to do like they always had these sequel comics that were the Crow concept, but in different scenarios. And I thought it would be awesome to have, like, the person I was talking with was like a Crow who was a member of the Yakuza. Yeah. Or I was thinking, a Crow in India, just give us something completely different, which is, why I enjoyed Kingdom so much on Netflix, and why I enjoyed The Dead so much, which was set in the middle of nowhere, Africa, as a zombie movie. So
I had an idea for a random zombie movie that occurred to me a couple days ago, and
Oh
now
yeah,
I just wish I had money to make it.
yeah.
Just it's a pretty much a straightforward zombie movie, but
Mhm.
the only difference is when you get bit by get bit by a zombie,
Mhm.
all the zombies are played by Wallace Shawn. And so as you get bit, you slowly turn into Wallace Shawn.
That's kind of amazing.
Just because I want, it can be bad CGI, but I want a whole field full of Wallace Shawns scrambling forward because I want to hear Wallace Shawn do his best sort of like sounds.
Wow, I like it.
So
I-
there you go. That's
Put it on Kickstarter, and I'm on. Let's do it.
that's my low budget, and I think we could probably get Wallace Shawn's stuff done. If you shoot the shit effectively, I think you can get Wallace Shawn's done like in 1-2 days on green screen total.
Mm.
It's not like we need a lot of commitment from Wallace Shawn, and the movie doesn't have to look great. Not really.
No, because it's all for the effect.
It's the concept, not
You
the.
could even do it as a short film. You could just
Yeah. I mean, you need to execute it well, but you don't
Yeah.
necessarily need to, you don't want the room, but it doesn't have to be, Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
It's all about if you can get Wallace Shawn, because if you can't get Wallace Shawn, the idea is shot. Because I can't think of another actor that would work.
I thought, what was it? Talking about specific actors, I saw where John Malkovich was talking about the experience of being John Malkovich.
Oh yeah.
And Spike Jonze apparently at one point said to him, but John Malkovich wouldn't do that. And he was like, that was a surreal experience. Oh my God. But yeah, I want different stories. I want different stories from different parts of the world
Yeah.
where like you're saying with the US is rockets and Britain is not, and you have to, it makes it interesting. I also had on the non-agenda the Furiosa trailer. Has anyone seen the Furiosa trailer?
I've seen it, but I'm a little underwhelmed.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't crank my tractor.
I have no problem. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I do.
Yeah.
But still, if you'd made that movie, I don't care if she was supposed to be a teenager. You still just go ahead and put Charlize Theron in there, and I'd be automatically 10% more interested.
Yeah. I think what did it for me was that the teaser was so CG heavy.
Yeah.
Whereas Fury Road, there was a lot of CG, but it was seamless.
We want the George Miller that made Fury Road, not the George Miller that made Happy Feet.
That is a very good way of putting it, actually.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on a second. George Miller did Happy Feet?
Yes.
you did.
I was never aware of that.
George Miller is a very he has a diverse range of skills. Now, I will say this. Chris Hemsworth is going to be great in this.
He is going to be great, but that nose is so distracting. It's so fake.
It's terrible. But just the idea of you're Chris Hemsworth and Mad Max is like the film that your country is known for around the world. And
Yeah.
they come to you and they say, how would you like to play a Mad Max villain? I mean, just the sheer joy with which he's going to do this film.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I want to watch it just for that. So, because he, he's got a great range, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, this looks better than, because this is the actual trailer, right?
Yeah.
This is whatever was linked in the show
Okay,
notes.
that should be the trailer. So yeah, that looks more real than the teaser. So maybe
Yeah.
it was just, not well rendered stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to follow Charlize Theron
Yeah.
in anything, honestly.
My big thing with it is just like it's one of these instances where they're making a sequel that like just seems like it doesn't need to be made.
Well, it's a prequel.
Well, it's prequel.
Prequel, sequel, whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
it just doesn't seem.
I would much rather see another Furiosa adventure with Charlize Theron
Yeah.
than this, because basically part of the problem is we know how this ends.
Yeah. Or I'd rather have a Tom Hardy one. We'll explore that.
But by the same token, they did a good enough job with Fury Road that we don't really need Mad Max in the Mad Max movies anymore, and that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility he can do something interesting with the trailer, with this movie. I mean, the problem with prequels, is generally you do know how everything's going to end, but every once in a while you'll get something that throws us something at the ending. You're like, well, that colors this in a different way.
Like Rogue One, you know eventually how everything is going to end up, but you don't know the details, and as a result, the impact is still there.
Yeah, or even to stay with Star Wars, even the cartoon, the Clone Wars. When they introduced the fact that Darth Vader had a student, Padawan, and you're like, well, this is gonna be bullshit. And then through a series of 7 seasons later, we love Ahsoka, and she got her own television series, which I adored, but I understand if other people didn't. It was pretty lore heavy.
Yeah, and is there going to be a second season of that?
There better fucking be.
Because where it left, I'm sort of like, hello?
Yeah, no, okay. So that show takes place heavily after the show Rebels. Rebels might be my favorite Star Wars thing ever. And so I was very excited about that show. I watched it and it gleefully. And when it ended, I was like, I'm going to accept this, but part of me wants to flip over every table.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I accept that this is where this ends for now, and I trust with you. You guys are going to finish this eventually, but are you going to finish it eventually 12 years from now? That's part of my problem with. I mean, I still enjoy MCU movies, but one thing that the MCU has proven is that they set up the first part really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Then my problem now, most people now say that everything, they've gone off the rails, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But part of my problem is they've allowed things to get so big that if you let things get that big in comics, they still come out quite often.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't have waited. We got a second Iron Man movie very quickly. We've waited how long now for a second Shang-Chi movie? We've forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. If Shang-Chi comes back now, it'll be nice to see him, but I barely fucking remember that movie. I made some comment about Ben Kingsley being in it, and the person I was talking to was like, wait, he was in that? I forgot. Because it's been so long.
Ben Kingsley's in the Wonder Man series, so I'm wondering if I'm just wondering if they're going to bring the threads in elsewhere, which is the right thing to do. But part of it is, I'm a big fan of, like you were saying with Rebels, it's like, I trust you to have a plan. I might not know what the plan is. I might have no idea what the plan is, but I need to trust you have a plan. You as the creator. And right now, I'm not sure that they have a plan. And I know part of that was that the COVID fucked them up. The strike fucked them up. Part of that was their own fault. And their idea about, hey, let's print some money with this instead of making quality stuff fucked them up. And I think they're trying to right course on that.
But one of Bob Iger's ways of fixing that is to make sure that we get less. But
again, I'm fine with less if it's less that is really good quality. My
Right.
thing is, listen, I would rather you come out with Shang-Chi 2 or whatever what it's going to turn into, in 2028 than have one come out next year and be shit.
I mean, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But I also know that, you and I don't necessarily agree on which movies are shit and which movies aren't. So,
I mean, there's only 2 I think are shit.
right. And I like both of those, but I will like,
What's
but-
that?
I'm a Bogey fan, man. I understand. I respect your opinion, but I will watch Bogey do anything. So even if other people didn't have that opinion, I would still be like, fuck yeah, Bogey, go, you do it.
So what are the 2 though?
The
Oh,
two that wedged, yeah,
Far From Home,
which I loved.
which was the worst until Multiverse of Meh, which blew it out of the water.
Which I have watched multiple times and enjoy.
I mean, listen, again.
Did you ever watch the Ant-Man?
What, Quantumania?
Yeah.
No, I've not watched it yet.
Okay.
No,
Well, then reserve your spots.
that's fine. But no, and JJ, here's the
I
thing.
still liked it, by the way. But
No, I understand. That's why I'm saying, even stuff that was not as good, like Iron Man 2, in retrospect, the main crime of Iron Man 2 is that it wasn't Iron Man 1. Because Iron Man 1 was so good.
I think people undersell Iron Man 2 big time.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. The movies that I think were probably the worst out of the MCU, which are not everybody else's worst.
Yeah.
The Ant-Man movies are my least favorite. Quantumania of the Ant-Man movies is probably my favorite because it's the weirdest. I'm not saying it's the best movie, but it is the one that feels like it was written by like an AI that was fed nothing but Steve Ditko comics.
I was going to say it feels most like the sort of Ant-Man actual comics.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
If Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby like were production designers on a film, it would look like Quantumania, which is why
I liked it.
Like
I
that
thought it
movie.
was fine. I just also think that not Kurt Russell, but Kurt Douglas was in a completely different movie for some reason.
Yes, he was.
Michael Douglas,
Yeah.
not Kurt. Well,
Kurt Douglas
and by the way,
actually
Kurt Douglas was in a completely different movie.
He was.
Just
And I cannot bring myself to sit through Age of Ultron. That movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I agree with you there.
I love James Spader, but that's a hard watch, man.
I didn't hate it. And again, I thought I think what I appreciated about it was it demonstrated how they weren't going to spoon feed stuff. Like the thing for where they used Thor's hammer on the shield that they had learned in the first movie was, a huge explosion. They used it as a defensive weapon and didn't say, "Hey, remember last movie where we did this?" And they did they did the same thing with the Iron Man technology. I really appreciate films that trust its audience to stay with it, and you don't have to force feed people.
I hear what you're saying, but those would be moments that I would remember better if I could find myself to watch the film enough to remember much of what happened in it. Other than
Age of Ultron. If you take out sort of the Ultron parts, the heavier Ultron parts, the way that it progressed the story to get us to the whole arc to get us to the end was really, really sort of brilliant in how they brought it all together. It just sort of it did rely so heavily on Ultron being Ultron that it took out of what was sort of some other interesting stories that were much more, the whole destruction of, again, I guess Sokovia and everything, and how that occurred, and what the impact of these people with all these powers have on the world. is an interesting story that was that pushed forward and made it possible for civil war to occur after that and things like that. Because if you don't have this huge disaster in the real, I mean, because they saved the world, so yeah, of course everyone's gonna be like, hey, they're great. But then see the flip side of all these people with powers.
Yep.
Oh crap! Now we got to control this stuff, right? So
Yeah.
But it was the Ultron part that sort of they dug into that maybe too much.
And I probably would have killed off Aaron Johnson's Quicksilver way earlier in the film.
Yeah.
He's so bad. And it wasn't helped by the fact that Evan Peters just wiped the
yes.
floor with him.
I mean, that's almost an unfair comparison considering what they gave Evan Peters to do
Yes.
was so like one of the best X-Men movie sequences ever.
I mean, there is that, but there's also the fact that if you watch Aaron Johnson in anything, he is kind of a dead-faced dullard, including Kick-Ass. And you watch Evan Peters, I am a big enough Evan Peters fan that I would like watch him read the phone book. I mean, his part in American Horror Story Hotel is just beautiful.
What was I going to say?
And this is why I'm looking forward to Deadpool.
Yeah. I hope Evan Peters is in that, actually. It'd be wonderful.
There should be no reason why he shouldn't be. I mean, hell, they're bringing everybody in. That's the whole point of the thing. Is like,
I don't even care if he says his name is Ralph Boner, whatever.
That,
I mean,
but I did like in Age of
He's on
Ultron the
Wanda,
setup
right?
of Vision.
hallucinating that.
What's that?
He was on WandaVision. I'm not hallucinating,
Yeah.
right?
That's Ralph Boner.
I said Ralph Boner. That's how they played that off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They still have a chance to make that better in Agatha Harkness. We'll see because I just think that
I think that's going to be great.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It's her and Aubrey Plaza. It'll be fucking great.
So and Patty LuPone.
Oh, I didn't know Patty LuPone was in it.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So silence your cell phones, people. She'll come through your TV.
Oh
and
my
threaten you.
god. Oh, that would be terrifying. But yeah.
Oh, Patty LuPone pulling a ring girl.
Yeah. Oh my god. That would be amazing. But no, there were things I liked in Age of Ultron. I did like the setup of making it seem like doing all of the tropes that Hawkeye was going to die and then not having it happen.
Right.
I liked because I like that. I like playing with the tropes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the Vision. And there were things that I liked about it, but again, it's not my go-to. If I want to watch a Marvel movie that is an antidepressant, I'll watch the first Avengers, or Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I think I don't really often. Maybe it's because I watched them so many times I don't have to.
Yeah,
I don't think I really go back to much past Civil War, like Winter Soldier or Civil War. I think I've seen the other ones enough that they're except for talk about an antidepressant for me. The first Captain America movie for me is
really good.
A beautiful pure nugget of just joy.
Yeah. For me, Winter Soldier was so it's the Captain America films are the perfect example of people are like, oh, I'm so tired of superhero movies. It's like, well, you're not paying attention because the first movie was basically a war movie that happened to have a superhero in it.
Yeah.
The second one was straight up 70s spy. They even got Robert Redford, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Spy paranoia thriller. And then your third one, that's your superhero one. But
I have friends that like still are like never really watched any of the MCU movies, and I basically tell them, really, if you want to follow the MCU and you don't want to watch a bunch of movies, just watch anything with Captain America in it and anything with Spider-Man in it, you're fine.
I would say Iron Man as well, just because the first movie is so good, and I loved the third movie. I thought the third movie was great.
I'm a big fan of Shane Black, so yeah. But I also don't know anymore. I know what it was like to see Iron Man when we saw it. When it was new. Now
Yeah.
that superhero films are a lot more commonplace, I don't know how that movie hits anymore, because it's kind of like watching Friday the 13th now,
Well,
or Halloween now, after years and years and years of people stealing its formula.
yeah. Well, you have to have the right context. I mean, it's like when I finally got around to seeing Seven Samurai. I don't know
Right.
why it took me so long, but I mean, you can just see the DNA of everything that came after it. And I what was it on the Criterion Collection? There's a thing, they're interviewing various people, and there was a guy who was like at the premiere in Japan the first time any audience saw that. Can you
wow.
imagine what that must have been like? Because we're, again, like you said, people have borrowed from that so many different ways that when you go back and watch it, you can recognize the stuff that came after. It's like the people that drive me crazy are the ones, I don't like Hitchcock. That's all been done. No, you don't understand.
Yeah.
He did it first.
Well, it's like, I think any kind of like monster disastery kind of movie, not like Godzilla, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to see the DNA of how those movies are made, I did an accidental like double feature. Well, I knew I was watching this double feature, but I didn't realize that it was going to lay the bones out for that structure.
Oh, yeah.
Is you watch Jaws and then Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And you
see
see
that.
how where Jurassic Park works because of what he learned on Jaws.
Mhm.
And then you understand why those movies work and why all of those other movies don't work.
Mhm. Yeah, it's fascinating. The other one like that was when I watched Peter Lorre and M.
Ah,
Oh God, M.
I mean,
If you-
again,
just anybody, if you ever get the chance to see M on the big screen in the theater,
yes.
I would love to. I would
where you
absolutely
can't
love to.
walk
Yes.
away, you're just stuck in the dark watching that movie. It is so much scarier than any other time, or so much more disturbing than when you watch it at home. Sorry, but yes, please.
Yeah,
finish.
but again, the DNA, you can just see everything that came after it. I mean, just scene after scene, I was just going, oh my God, this is where it all started. And
Or The Third Man is another
Mhm.
one like
oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah. But I remember it was interesting on the bonus bits on M. I bought the Blu-ray because I had seen it on Criterion. I was like, I need to own this because I'm going to be studying this. And I'm not giving anything away by saying this, but there's a sequence where Peter Lorre's hiding in basically a storage facility, in essence, and stands up as a light hits him. And they were talking about how they tried, this one director was trying to recreate certain effects from the film. Not, special effects, but just the way a scene hit.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't, they're trying to redo this and it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. And it was only when they timed it exactly the way Fritz Lang had done it, that it, he stood up, light hits him. It was like, oh, that's the only way it works. If you try to do it any other way, it doesn't work. And yeah, it's also, again, historical context. When you understand that this was the first film he had done with sound, and so there are sequences in the film there's no sound whatsoever. So it's like it looks like this. Oh, it's this fascinating artistic thing, and it is. But it's also because that's what he had been working with for years and years and years. So it's amazing. But yeah, I think that would be interesting. I would actually love somebody to watch Iron Man who had been sort of shielded from this whole MCU thing and get their take on it, because it's like,
As long as they had seen other superhero, like modern superhero films. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that I think everyone should do, for their children or nephews or nieces or whatever, is, and I think this needs to be done on a community level, is just rent out a cinema one of the houses in a cinema and show in like festival form, you know, the Captain America TV movie, the Hulk Trial of the Incredible Hulk, where you had Daredevil and
Wow.
Thor, and you know, I don't know, maybe the Justice League of America pilot. I don't know.
I
But
would
just-
also throw in there, since you're saying Captain America, the Matt Salinger Captain America movie that like was supposed to go to theaters and they pulled at the last second. So
Yes.
you can see Red Skull with an Italian accent and the Captain America mask with rubber ears.
Yes. But just I think if today's generation saw those, they would better appreciate what they have. And it would explain why we're so fucked in the head.
And fuck it, throw barbed wire in there so they can go, this is like the only comic book movie we had in the theaters for like 15 years.
Yeah. Until Blade, this is all we had. So, but yeah. And they should watch Blade, because if it wasn't for Blade, we wouldn't have any of this shit.
Yeah.
That's O.J. Simpson's favorite superhero movie.
Yeah, fuck that. It's still good.
It's fantastic. I watched
And I
it.
can't wait to see Marshala play Blade. That will be so
I
good.
just,
Oh, yeah.
all I ask is, you know, a cameo somewhere for Chris Christopherson.
I would love that.
Wesley
Even
Snipes, sure, but Chris Christopherson, please. That's all I ask.
And what the hell? Patton Oswalt is a blind guy, just to throw in one of the best characters in the movie that everybody hates.
Or they could
Oh,
just
wow.
have Patton Oswalt be like a down and out future Daredevil. You know,
Yeah,
just
have him
let
standing
himself go. Yeah.
standing
God.
next to Natasha Lyonne, just so you can remember that at one point in time, these were not like really sought after actors, and they were bit parts in Blade 3. Just throwing that out
Wow.
there.
Wow.
But since we are kind of on a Marvel train, I saw you put in X-Men 97. Has anybody seen it?
No, but I'm going to. I think I've heard enough that I want to see it.
Did you ever read Claremont X-Men?
Yes, I have. That's why I don't really want to see it, because it's perfect in my head. If that makes any sense.
It's so good.
Yeah.
As someone who realized, I was listening to the podcast Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men, and I realized part of why I lost interest, I mean, I still have affection for the X-Men, but I realized kind of why I lost some of my affection when the Jim Lee era started, was that Jim Lee, and this happens in comics in general, but it put this in a context for me, that so when Jim Lee came on, he wanted to draw the stuff that he grew up seeing in comics.
Right.
Whereas when Claremont was writing the comics, he wanted to tell a storyline that told that story, and then when you were done with it, the characters were affected by it and you moved forward. So
Right.
he didn't have to he didn't want to tell more Sentinel stories. He'd already told his Sentinel stories.
Mhm.
He didn't want to tell, the endless variations of the Phoenix Saga, because he had told that story.
Yeah.
And then the next generation came in and they're like, we want to do those things that we saw. We want to draw Sentinels. They're cool. And the whole reason they turned Psylocke
With
into
pockets.
with lots of pockets. They turned Psylocke into like cultural
Oh,
appropriation, the character,
Mm.
because Jim Lee wanted to draw a ninja woman, and they were like, we'll just do it with Psylocke, whatever. So so I still have a lot of affection for the X-Men characters, but I missed their growth. And the thing that X-Men 97 does that's really kind of nice is so the first episode is fun. As a wrestling fan, I will just throw out, there's a quick scene in there where Rogue DDTs a Sentinel, and that amused the hell out of me. Which, if you don't know what DDT is, when you grab somebody and drop them on their head. But the first episode's good, and I was really appreciating things like they animated tactics and strategy in a way that comic cartoons like the Justice League or the Super Friends would just like, oh look, there's a bad guy, let me shine a green light on him while you punch him. And so it was, I found it interesting to see that. The second episode is when they go full on Claremont-y like juicy backstory soap opera, and I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. I mean, they could
Hmm.
fuck it all up with the third episode. I don't know, but as of right now, the first 2 episodes, especially the second season or for second episode, are fucking gold.
Mm.
I started watching. I watched just a fraction because my my wife was in the room with me at the time, and she's not that into that sort of style of cartoon. But I watched like the first 10 minutes maybe of the first episode, and I was just shocked at how well they. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be, but how well they made it feel as though it was the 90s X-Men, cartoon series. Like that it was so, even to the dialogue and sort of where the animation and how it cuts around and everything. It was very, they did a very good job. It's almost like if you didn't know it was not done in modern day, you would think that it was actually just, they've just dug up something that was never released or whatever.
Only they animated it way better. I mean, it is much higher quality animation.
Sure, you can make that argument. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But it's to me, it just seems like it's just more high def.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but there are fewer mistakes of people's like arms shifting.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, again, we've got to be fair to the people back in the 90s. The technology they were dealing with versus the technology we're dealing with today, right? But no, it just it was shocking to me. It was shocking, the dialogue. I'm like, oh, this is how the old cartoon they spoke and how they talked and how they entered rooms, and it was again, I haven't watched the whole episode, but I watched like the first 10 minutes through like the first big fight that they had there, which
Rogue
like,
does
right
still
off the bat.
Rogue does still like speak in fake southernisms.
Right. So anyway,
kiss my whatever, but yeah, I almost said grits and then just decided to stop because actually the line that I remember, of course, from the first episode that everybody remembers is when she walks in and goes, "I'm about as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs."
Good Lord. Well, we should probably lean into the time of recommendations since it's becoming that time. So
now I do have a question.
Oh, go.
I've been hearing a beep in the background. Is that somebody else's?
I took my headphones off. I don't think it's
So
here.
the answer to that would be the fire alarm in the hallway that is like higher than Janet or I can get to. That the battery has to be
Battery's
changed.
low.
Yeah.
That's what.
And
That's
I'm not
if you heard
doing
me
it.
saw
I'm
me.
not
I took
doing
off
it in
my
the dark.
earpiece. I'm like, is that coming from inside my
I'm not
house?
doing one.
Do
I'm
I
not
need
doing
to
it in the
replace the
dark.
battery?
And 2, I'm not asking Janet with her vertigo to try to hold a ladder. So
Sure.
Well, it's better than having her go on the ladder.
But
dude,
having her hold it would be safer
well, I
than
mean,
ever going on.
the idea of my svelte ass on a ladder is pretty fucking hilarious in and of itself, right? So yeah.
How do you fix that then?
You either call the maintenance people, they do it, or the girls upstairs, I think, and I tomorrow are going to do it.
Oh, okay. All right.
can you sleep through it tonight, though? I mean, that is.
It's in the
I know
hallway.
my dog goes
and
crazy.
yeah,
when those things-
we've managed to sleep through it. I mean, I'd never underestimate the power of booze to put you to sleep.
Well, I hear
I'll say the same
recently
thing about weed, but go on.
Vicodin and vodka, my friend.
the fucking idiots that own my apartment complex, and I cannot fucking wait to move.
I'm with you. Yeah.
My lease runs out at the end of August, and at the beginning of August, I will be moving. But they took a gas blower. They didn't want to sweep the hallway, so they took a gas powered leaf blower and used a gas powered leaf blower in the hallway to clean out the 2 floors. And so they filled the entire apartment building with exhaust fumes and set off everybody's smoke detectors.
Oh, good.
That was
nice.
not a good day off.
So back in the day, I was at a theater conference. My buddy decided to play a prank on me because the night before we were at I woke up in the middle of the night because the phone was ringing at the hotel that we were staying at for this theater conference, and it just said invalid, and freaked the crap out of me because in the middle of the night I'm in a strange hotel. I'm 16, 17 years old at that time, and it freaked the shit out of me. So the next night, my buddy, who has gone on to he's a lighting designer, and that's sort of the gig he does. He got a hold of our fog machine that we had, stuck it under the sheets in the bedroom. Well, I'm passed out, right? And then set up a bunch of strobe lights and everything. Turned on the fog, turned on the thing, and just started chanting invalid. And I woke up like, I'm in a panic. I'm crawling across the floor. Well, in the meantime,
oh God,
fire alarm goes off now because the fog machine has now filled up the entire room. He is not a svelte man. He is a larger man.
Hey now,
runs from the door up into the air. I've never seen him move or go so, and hits the fire alarm, the smoke detector rather, in the room, crashing it to the ground, swatting it out of the ceiling. I mean, literally, I'm 6'2". If I jumped vertical, I could not have touched where the stupid thing was. And he's just Superman of the whole adrenaline thing, and takes it and tears it down. Of course, the next day, the fire marshal shows up. I'm already a nervous wreck just and normally. And now I'm like, oh shit, we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble, man. We're all in trouble. He's like, dude, chill out, man. It's okay.
And then the fire marshal walks in and goes, invalid.
Is it safe? Is it safe?
It turns out the fire marshal was just doing a head count because they have so many high school students in one hotel that they're like, you've got to be cramming too many people in these rooms. Which was what they were doing. They had no idea about the fire alarm because I guess I should not say fire alarm. The smoke detector in our room went off. The fire alarm outside apparently never went off. It was only going off in our room. Oh. And so anyway, but yeah, so that is another option. Just get a stick and just knock it out of the ceiling until to solve the problem. That's it. That was all.
Vicodin and vodka, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Or vodka, Vicodin and vodka.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go.
All right, who's got recommendations? Go, JJ.
I'm not sure if Rob's not frozen. I was like, I don't know if Rob's frozen or what.
one would argue I was frozen quite a long time ago, but yes.
I will say I picked up the new Judas Priest record.
How is it?
Love it. It's one of those things where how bands that have been around for a while, they somehow out of nowhere they'll put out just like one killer album out of nowhere. This seems to be that one killer album out of nowhere. Like, it's not like it's reinventing the wheel. If you know what Judas Priest sounds like, it sounds like Judas Priest, but there's a couple of tracks on there that are just absolutely fucking killer. And it sounds great. I'm really happy with it. I also for Christmas, I haven't done this in a while, so I haven't said this, but for Christmas I got the Dolly Parton Rockstar set.
Nice.
It's really good, with the exception of there's a track with Leonard Skinner that I don't need, and there's a track with
is it really Leonard Skinner though at this point?
I don't care. I grew up in Mississippi and lived in Alabama for quite some time, and I lived all throughout the South. I don't need Leonard Skinner. I don't need him.
Nobody does.
No, they don't. It's flowchart. Do you need Leonard Skinner? Yes. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
And there's a Kid Rock track on there that can go fuck itself. But
yeah.
Other than those tracks, the rest of the albums, and the Rob Halford track, Bygones. Do yourself a favor. If you don't pick up the record, listen to Dolly Parton, Rob Halford, Bygones. It's as surprising to me as when I picked up, I don't even know if it's still in print, but when Halford first left Sabbath, he did an album called Voyeurs with Trent Reznor. And that album is fucking brilliant. And so this was as surprising for me as that Bygones track should be all over the radio right now, but it's not. Also, I just finished a book that I think you would like, Widge, if you haven't read it. It's called Why Fish Don't Exist by Lulu Miller.
Okay.
I don't know why it made me think of you, but I did think of you while I was reading it. It is a
Widge doesn't believe in fish.
well, you don't have to believe in
famous fish hater.
but it is so it's a personal memoir / science book. Lulu Miller does science for Radiolab and other like NPR shows. And so she's really focused on this guy, David Starr Jordan, and she explains why. And he's obsessed with categorizing fish. He's, from the old days when they hadn't discovered many fish. And, he's the person who, God, I can't, it's been a little while since I've read this. One of the major colleges in California he helped found. But it's really, really interesting because the book sets him out to be one thing, and as you continue to read the book, you find out he's not exactly who you think it is. And it's for a science book to do that is really fucking fascinating. And so I greatly enjoyed that. I'm in the middle of, I have not finished yet, but I'm in the middle right now of reading How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix.
Okay.
Grady Hendrix writes, I would say, like a cross between Stephen King and Augustin Burroughs.
Okay.
And the fact that it's very character driven. You understand you understand where the main characters are coming from, but it also has really strange family dynamics, and they're dealing with a haunted house. And one of the things I will say I love about it, because this happens early-ish in the book, is when they go to sell, these kids, their parents died, so they're trying to sell their house. The realtor comes in and just goes, yeah, okay, I'm not going to live. This house is in great shape. You could probably get a lot of money for it in this market, but I'm not going to sell it for you because it's haunted. And just get that trope out of the way.
Okay.
And I really, really enjoyed that. But it's very funny. It's also effectively scary. So I'm enjoying that a great deal. So yeah. Other than that, I guess the only other record I picked up recently that I really, really liked was they reissued Johnny Cash's Man Comes Around, and I got that on vinyl. And Jesus Christ, if you ever listen to that album anyway, listen to it this way. It is so beautiful and rich, and goddamn, I'd forgotten how good that album is.
So all of those are good in different ways.
Yeah. And because I spent too much money during COVID on my record player, and I have more expensive speakers on that than I do on anything else, anything I play on my record player sounds better than any other way I can play music. But because of that, the fidelity on hearing, one of the things I love, they never talk about this on the song Hurt, but one of the things I love about that song is the fact that the microphone isn't up for Johnny Cash's voice, and he just blows that fucking mic out when he's singing. And it's such a cool sound, and hearing it on a better sound system than I had previously is amazing. So anyway, love all that. That's pretty much what I'm down to right now.
Cool. Thanks, JJ. All right, Rob, what do you got?
Well, in my world of the weird, I'm gonna go back to, this is kind of a rabbit hole I've fallen down. But it's a whole genre of music I did not know existed until about 6 months ago, but it's called Zamrock. And it's basically all rock music from the 70s from Zambia, right? Yes. And there's a band that I am absolutely obsessed with now called Almanaz.
Yes.
And Africa, they only made one album. Mm-hmm. And the guy who's the lead singer eventually became a Pentecostal preacher and makes gospel albums now. And one of their songs was used in Ted Lasso, by the way. But Africa, which is from 1975, if you're going to do one album and go out, this is the way to do it, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like a psych rock album meets a Hendrix record. You know, it's the guitars in it are just amazing. Oh, yes.
I just looked it up. I mean, so I was just saying that's what the cover looks like.
Yeah, it's yeah, I have sort of fallen down this rabbit hole with this now, and I got the bug, and every once in a while I'll find these like sort of just bizarre things, and I bought some dead guy had a bunch of records, and like 15 of them were records from Zambia, and I had no idea what the hell this stuff was, and then I realized it's a thing, and man, it's all fantastic. So yes, that also Glasgow Eyes, the brand new record from the Jesus and Mary Chain.
Hmm.
It's probably not as good as their first two albums, but it's still pretty good. And then my favorite band name of the month is Tiger Tiger.
I just heard of them.
Their album's called Bloom. You know, they're from Italy. They're like the Italian Idols, right? They're just fantastic, and I love the band name. I fucking love the band name, which is great. So I recommend both of those highly, or all three of those highly. And then also making it weird. So a shout out to a friend of mine named Trisha Romano, who has written a book called The Freaks Came Out to Write. It is a history of the Village Voice, right? And it is absolutely amazing. If you're a fan of writing, if you're a fan of gonzo journalism, if you're a fan of like writing about everything that the Village Voice wrote about, like just the stories of like she covered the club beat for years, just her stories about that, and then she interviews like all these different people that wrote for the Village Voice and just sort of like all the nonsense that happened with that. It's fantastic. So get that. Also a book called I Love You So Much It's Killing Us Both, a novel or an annotated mixtape. It's by Mariah Stovall, and basically it is basically the story of a kid growing up in LA who is alienated and sad and trying to find friends, and discovers a really great platonic love affair, and then has records in it and stuff. It's just a really cool kind of music, records, punk rock kind of book. So I recommend that as well. It's as they say, pretty fucking fantastic. And then I've also, the other rabbit hole I've gone down is I'm reading a ton of Japanese fiction right now, right? So I'm reading this book called People from My Neighborhood, and it's a whole collection of stories by Hiromi Kawagami, and it's like each story is basically a page or 2 pages, right? And they all interweave from each other later, but like they're all short stories, but none of the stories are longer than 3 pages. And it's just really fantastic. So I would recommend that as well. And lastly, the Criterion for Trainspotting. It's pretty great. So that's all I got, kids. Oh, and M. If you've never seen fucking M,
Go see fucking M.
my God, yeah.
Cool.
I hope you do get to see that in the theater sometime, Widge. It is,
I
you
would
think
love
you
to.
love that movie, you don't even know. It's
Yeah.
so much more disturbing on the big screen.
I believe it. I completely believe it. All right. Thanks, Rob. All right, John, what you got?
Not much. I would like to second again Rox's recommendation of the 3-body problem. It is a fresh take on an old story that we know very well. And also on Netflix, The Gentleman, which is
I've heard about this.
It's just a fun sort of gangster. I didn't see the movie. I guess I can go watch the movie that was originally also by Guy Ritchie. But it's just a fun in the sense of, there's people getting their heads shot off type thing. But it's a fun drama, crime, family sort of English noble
Mm-hmm.
story. It's just if you like any of Guy Ritchie's stuff, you're going to definitely like this. It's just sort of the same thing that he does all the time, but now in a serial format. So go check that out. And I guess that's all I have right now because
Okay.
yeah, my life has been sort of that. So if you need to get any of that, I assume that maybe you can rent The Gentleman on Amazon, and that to get to that, you just go to needcopy.com/Amazon/ I think it's on Amazon. The Gentleman, the movie from 2019. I don't know. .com.
Right. John is correct, even though he inexplicably was doing that in a falsetto voice. If you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon for any of the stuff that we've talked about over the course of the show, or in the recommendations, or even things that have sprung into your mind and you don't even know where they came from, despite the fact that you'll never prove that we put them there, you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon and you will wind up on the front page of Amazon, like you've gone to the front page of Amazon because you've gone to the front page of Amazon, and anything that you purchase during that session, we get kickbacks for, and we do appreciate it because it helps pay for things like the server. My recommendations, a couple things. First, Rob was telling you about Zamrock. I've been finding, and I've played a few of these on my show, the music of Madagascar is actually really fascinating and quite good. So as I've said on the show, and I think I've said here, I will find, I'll take a music genre and a nationality, put them together and Google it or put it into Spotify and just see what the hell happens. And I think that's how I wound up with pulling stuff from Madagascar. I don't know, but I like it. Also, music-wise, it is the 20th anniversary. It just passed 3 days ago of Clutch's Blast Tyrant. So I highly recommend revisiting that. I was doing it today. It's lovely. And lastly, the band Mother Mother has a new album out called Grief Chapter. And I'm really liking their stuff. I need to listen to more of the rest of it. But to give yourself a taste, the first track on the album is called Nobody Escapes. And it pleases me greatly. So I recommend all of that. And anything else that you might think of that we could have said. Just pretend we said it. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of another episode of Weekend Justice. And I think, as we are wont to do, as we kind of try to recover from whatever the hell it is that's just happened, that we've put ourselves and you through, I think it's only fair that we look over the distance that is created by somebody's fog machine and simply say, invalid.
Screw you, witch.
That's so cool, though. It's a
great story.
It's a great story.
And by the way, I do not do it justice. If my buddy Chris was here, he could tell you the whole thing. And also the fact that I was writhing on the floor going, my ulcer, my ulcer. I was a panicked. I was a nervous little kid.
Oh, God.
Weren't we all? I mean, you said theater, so
yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wait, I think
The State Theater Conference.
Yep. Been there.
Yeah. Been there. Theater
So,
kids represent.
Yeah.
And the tech guy is the one screwing you over.
Yeah, I've been the tech guy, and I was a tech kid and a theater kid. There's
So
no
was
hope for
I.
me whatsoever.
I once had to tech a show and found out during like the main competition performance that the audio cues that I got were recorded in stereo and only on the left channel, and nobody bothered to tell me that. So when I hooked everything up in stereo, apparently there was a short in that cable, so it was only playing through the other speaker, so none of the sound cues happened.
Oh my god.
So yes,
That's not
I
And that is
understand.
why-
My answer.
And that's why he drives a bus.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, my that
Day
Chris
job.
went on. You know, Chris went on. He's a awesome lighting designer. But he also did like went on tour with was a lighting designer for Manowar, if you know who that is.
Oh, my
fun.
God.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Nice.
a
Random
European
fact.
tour. Yep.
have you any of you guys ever heard of Evoke Candle Company?
No.
No.
Okay, I've grown to really, really love their candles, but Evoke Candle Company, speaking of random things like that, is founded by the drummer of Saxon and his wife.
Really?
So they have his wife was a home decor person, and so they make candles that are like rock and roll based. Like I first found them because they made after Lemmy died, they made a Motorhead candle that smelled like leather and whiskey, and when you burn it, fuck me, it smells like leather and whiskey.
Wow.
And so they do candles like they have a Taylor Swift candle that smells like Christmas trees because she grew up on a Christmas tree farm. Legit, this one's burnt out, but this Judas Priest candle I have is one of the best smelling. It just smells like a nice men's cologne. It's called Golden Rock. But yeah, their candles are great.
Hmm.
And
And
it's weird as Taylor Swift has a BDSM line coming out, so it smells like Christmas trees as well.
But yeah, anyway, Evoke candles. They're
They have a
really-
candle called Gold Dust Woman.
Yeah. They have a candle called, I can't remember what it's called, but it smells like birthday cake. It's got a cuddly Baphomet on it and it smells like birthday cake. It's great.
Wow.
You get a
Weird.
Saxon candle.
Weird world.
I was actually this episode I was burning something called Heavy Metal Drummer that he put it out as he had an aneurysm. Oh, sorry, Heavy Metal Drummer.
There you go. Wow.
But he had an aneurysm, and so this is to help research for people like him and Emilio Clark. They both. It's the same charity that they both promote.
Nice.
Does the Mambo Italiano candle smell like Rosemary Clooney?
You would hope so. But no, they're a little pricey, but they're really good candles. They're really good. And they put deals out all the time. You buy one candle from them, and I keep getting like buy one get one free candle deals and shit. So,
What's the name of the brand again?
Evoke.
Evoke. Okay.
Nice. Oi.
If they make a convoy candle, I'm in.
They made a American Girl that was a Tom Petty candle that smelled like apple pie.
Nice.
Okay.
They also have a cherry bomb candle that
I saw
smelled like
that.
cherries. Yeah.
Wow,
Very
that
nice.
is super cool.
But legit, the Judas Priest candle is one of the best smelling like room candles I have ever burnt. I have two more of them that I haven't opened just because I was afraid they'd run out, so I bought more.
Well, there you have it.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to be careful which ones I pick because they have a lot of candles that have musk in it, and I am deathly allergic, so I have to be careful with that.
Ooh.
Okay, so don't wear musk if I ever am around you.
Yeah.
I'll stand upwind because I'll know because I'll start my trachea will start to close.
I don't normally wear musk, so that's okay.
Nobody does anymore. It hasn't been a thing since I was a
You
child.
haven't been to my bar.
Wow.
Everybody's like 900 years old.
Yeah, they don't have shampoos anymore, like a touch of mink that have mink musk in it, like they had when I was
I
a
wonder
kid.
if I could buy some of that. I'll have to find it.
Ugh.
Buy that and some pro.
But you can check neatcoffee.com/Amazon
Oh, we must still be recording. I thought I was just talking.
/musky scent.
Yep. That keep JJ is neatcoffee.com/Amazon/JJ is musk free.
Yes. I'm allergic to three things in this world: musk, whole milk, and band-aids.
Wait, what?
Wait, literally
Those are
Band-Aids?
I'm literally all of those things.
There are band-aids that if you don't get the right kind, it affects your skin.
I'm allergic to medical tape and adhesives.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Huh.
I have a friend that has that issue too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like when I go in the hospital, like I discovered it when I was a very young child. I'll try to tell the story quickly now that I know that we're still recording. I was a child, had a really bad appendicitis. They gave me an IV. They taped the IV down to my arm. My skin blistered up and pulled the needle halfway out, and so blood mixed with IV and soaked my sheets, made puddles on the ground. It looked like I had been murdered. And my mother came to find me in the morning. I was asleep in bed, covered with like dripping wet, bloody sheets, and my mother screamed. And so ever since I was a child, I now tell them, please don't give me medical tape.
Wow.
Do you just carry around duct tape? Does duct tape work on you?
I'm deathly allergic to
You know what I learned today?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is anything that sticks to your body?
When I
One of the things
was
I learned-
working in like at Christmas when I wrap presents, the Scotch tape makes my fingers itch. It's not that bad, but it does make my fingers itch. When I was working at a packing store, somebody once tried to jokingly rip off a patch of my arm hair by putting packing tape on my arm and ripping it off,
And they ripped off his
pulled
arm.
off-
and my arm started to blister. I'm allergic to adhesives.
There's
learned today
no
they're using-
adhesive that doesn't do that.
I
Yeah.
can use cloth band-aids,
Okay.
and I can, that medical stuff that doesn't actually adhere to your skin. It's usually blue
It's
that they wrap
like
around.
gauze.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can use that. It's like that sort of like stretchy. It adheres to itself, but it doesn't adhere to your skin.
Okay. Yeah.
I can
So
use that, but that's it. And even cloth band-aids I can use, and I have to I can't leave them on for long periods of time. I take them off
Wow.
because they start to itch.
wow.
Yeah,
never
I
heard
learned
of that
today they're
before.
using like a type of glue now for folks that have that.
Yeah. In fact, I even when I got the tattoo that's on my chest, they tried to put the stuff they put over burn wounds on my, and it just filled with pus in like less than 12 hours and fell off.
Ah.
I'm frail. At least my skin's frail.
Wow. Yeah. With me, it's just cats. I
Yeah.
go in. They say, "Are you
You're a
allergic to
cat.
anything?" I said, "Cats. Don't prescribe cats."
Yeah.
They never laugh, but it's funny. Anyway. All right. Well, let's run away. Yes, we'll run away, and that
Run
blows
away.
up my idea to get you some monogram masking tape, JJ. Oh well.
But not mine.
Oh yeah, it's true. You're still
Wow.
getting the monogram masking tape.
Oh no, I'm gonna get it for JJ.
Oh,
just
okay.
'cause I'm that guy.
You are that guy.
Do you have to have somebody come over and open your Amazon packages?
No, I just have itchy fingers. I mean, it's
He
He
puts
could
on
put on
those
gloves.
big gloves.
It's
I-
a whole hazmat suit on.
I refuse. No, I will live with itchy fingers.
He has one of those chambers that
It's-
has the gloves built in, and you could stick your hands in, and then he opens it, and then
Yeah.
Itchy Fingers was Eric Clapton's brother, right?
He might be the next rapper to be arrested. Actually, that was Sticky Fingers, and he was Blade.
oh,
Ah! All right, we're destroying stuff now.
yep,
What
time
the hell
to
are
go
you
away.
doing, John?
What?
No, he's knocking everything over there. I don't know.
That wasn't me.
No, that
John.
was me.
Oh, see, I thought it was John. I'm like,
No, I tried to move this bottle of cologne, and the lid came off. That's all.
what cologne do you have there? What is that?
This is one that's
It's called Not Musk.
I cannot pronounce it. It was picked up for me in Italy, and it is it's
Encore Noir.
Ah,
which means not Musk.
not musk. Yeah.
Today on Sense.
oh my god!
Sense with JJ.
All right, I'm gonna run
know,
away so I can pee.
All right.
All right,
I've had a day. I'm
thanks,
gonna hit the
folks.
bar.
Good for you.
night.
Yeah, bye. I should hit at the end stream, I guess.